Christmas is a time of year full of lies and deceit. Every Christmas movie ever made is spreading the same propaganda, the same lesson, that it's always better to give than to receive. What a load of baloney. That's just straight up horseradish. That's one of the biggest lies ever told, up there with the time I used to tell girls on Tinder that I was 5'10". So I'm just gonna tell you right now, in almost every situation, it is better to receive than to give. Case in point, today's video topic. I subscribed to Markiplier's OnlyFans, so I received some tasteful nudes from Markiplier, which is far better than had I given him my nudes. It probably would have ruined his Christmas. But I'm going to have my cake and eat it too, because while I may have received these wonderful pictures, I'm going to give you all my review of them. I have a keen eye for quality when it comes to the human body. I'm one of the few owners on this planet of an ovipositor, which is an alien wiener that gives you little lubed eggs that you push through so that way when you put it inside yourself you can lay eggs deep within. There is few things when it comes to anatomy that I haven't seen. So there was nothing Markiplier could post that was going to shock me. So I'm coming in here and giving an objective review of each and every one of his pictures. Obviously I can't show them since it's paywalled content, but I can at least show you this one, which is his header, his profile pic banner. So this is the Markiplier OnlyFans page. It is an official page and all of the proceeds are going to the Cincinnati Children's Hospital, which is a great cause. Now let's take a peek at this bad boy here. So his header is just the standard classic paint me like one of your French girls pose. It's an iconic one, but it has a lot of pizzazz here. Mark's wearing a silk robe and he's using a wine bottle as a substitute for his penis and an erection. You can see he's pointing straight up to the sky, pointing to Jesus, letting him know that while he may have died for our sins, we can't stop sinning. What I find most impressive about this piece is that Markiplier was able to hide his 15-inch whopper behind that little ice bucket there. I have to imagine, and this may be breaking the magician's code, I have to imagine he used gaff tape to tape down the beast so that way it didn't get out of control and ruin the artistic shot here. But that's just a little game theory. So the first series of photos cost $3, and I gotta tell you, I got a lot of bang for my buck out of that. The first one was a boxing photo that looked like it was an AI-generated piece of art that was trying to improvise Markiplier naked. So it's got Mark's bare ass facing the camera, and he's got his gloves up. He's got his set thrown up, and he's ready to lay down the hammers. And he's fighting another Markiplier, but this one's got a black eye. He's also nude, and the boxing glove from the previous Markiplier clone is blocking his cock. It's a cool action shot that delivers a deeper message about how sometimes the person that beats us up the most, our worst enemy, is ourselves. So I really appreciate what he was trying to say with the piece while also still trying to stimulate arousal. But I will say it's not the most sexually engrossing piece I've seen, so this one's going to have to be a 6 out of 10 from me. Now the next photo I actually think is the strongest in the set. It's Markiplier naked in a forest chopping some wood, obviously for the fireplace in order to keep him and his family warm. He's also doing the classic bicep flex while finishing up the hard day as a lumberjack. It's a very strong piece that speaks to the bravado and machismo associated with woodcutting. And I would like to point something out. Markiplier's got some pepperonis. Like, those nipples mean business. His areolas are so full. It's like those were made for suckling. And they're on full display here, which is much appreciated. I do think that's going to be a 10 out of 10 piece, the strongest in the set by far. Now, the final piece in the set of 3 of the Triforce of Power is Markiplier as a lifeguard, while Markiplier as a swimmer is getting attacked by a shark. They're both nude. Both Markipliers are completely bare ass. But the Markiplier that's getting attacked by a shark has the shark biting through his cock and his ass, which is incredible. Like, the street sharks showed no mercy on Markiplier today. And lifeguard Markiplier, also nude, has the flotation device at the ready, and it looks like a big penis. So it's a very interesting piece, and it tells like an entire story about the dangers of swimming without the lifeguard nearby, or the dangers of having a lifeguard that's a little too preoccupied because he's already been bitten by the shark. So I actually think it's an interesting piece. It may not be the most sexually gratifying one, but it is a very thought-provoking one. It's going to be an 8 out of 10 for me there. Now we're moving on to his most recent drop, and the first one is him as a construction worker doing road work and holding up a sign that says, "Come." A very good piece, very in your face. There's no deeper message here. He's doing road work, him and Markiplier clone doing road work, both naked, and I just think this is like what it's all about. When you think Markiplier naked, you probably think of Markiplier doing road work naked, so he delivers on your expectations. He doesn't getting into any filler content, you know, it's just right there. it knows what it is. So I appreciate the bluntness of the piece. That's going to be a 9 out of 10 from me on the naked Markiplier road worker. Now the next one I could write a whole thesis on. Markiplier truly outdid himself with the second in this set. It's Markiplier as a sports fan, but there's like 15 of them. He does the shadow clone jutsu and they're all fucking butt-ass naked. And they're all doing incredible celebratory poses. It's an overload of the senses. You don't know where to look. Your attention is drawn in all types of different directions. You got your eyes fucking splitting in different directions trying to process all the information. It's a sensory overload, but in the best possible way. Is the penis over there? Is the nutsack over there? Where's his ass? Oh my god, he's very excited. Did they just get a touchdown? You're just asking questions and you're satisfied the entire way. I think it's the strongest across both sets, so I'm just going to have to give this one a 10 out of 10. Like, the more I look at it, the more I learn. Now, moving on to the final piece, and by far the most avant-garde piece, it is Markiplier naked going through a portal where you get caught in that, like, endless portal falling. So Markiplier's torso is reaching up and grabbing Markiplier's ankle, where his ass is above him. So he's looking up at his own asshole and grabbing it from down here from the other portal. It's a very interesting piece, and the visual effects are on par with like a Marvel TV show, honestly. It's pretty impressive stuff. But I will say, there's room for improvement. Maybe he could have been reaching up with two hands and spreading his legs like a goddamn Thanksgiving turkey. Like, I think there was more he could have done with the pose. But overall, a still very strong piece. I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10. Now, he still has one drop left, and I'm hoping he goes whole hog and just lets it all hang out. So he, like, goatees himself. He's got his wiener flopping around everywhere. Like, it just becomes extreme. Instead of tasteful nudes, it becomes the least classy nudes ever made. It just is like a giant jump scare. But yeah, I just wanted to rate the current nudes out there before Drop 3 comes out, since there's a lot of hype surrounding it. And yeah, overall, I'd give it a 10 out of 10. I think it's a wonderful thing he's doing. He's doing it to raise money for charity. And I know when he made the OnlyFans, it was so popular that it like crashed the site for an hour, which is fucking nuts. So anyway, that's about it. See ya. It was only a few days ago that the world looked on in shock and horror as OnlyFans announced it would be banning any sexually explicit content. Pornography would no longer be allowed on the platform. With tears in our eyes and a soft cock in our hands, we knew it was time to move on. And move on most people did. Thousands and thousands of people abandoned OnlyFans after the announcement of the pornography ban. And I think it was 5,000 new applications per hour were being submitted to competitors' websites like Fansly and shit like that. OnlyFans did the unthinkable. They put a shotgun in their ass and pulled the trigger. They committed suicide on the big stage. I think this will go down as one of the dumbest decisions any company has ever made in the history of shitty company decisions. OnlyFans will be talked about in the same sentence as Blockbuster and Tumblr. It was the most predictable outcome ever. If you ban the only thing people go to your site for, you're obviously not going to have those people go to your platform anymore. OnlyFans banning porn is like Steam banning video games. It's nonsensical and it kills it on the spot. There's just no universe where OnlyFans is able to pivot away from porn and become some kind of wholesome, family-friendly platform where old Meemaw's got an OnlyFans for her shuffleboard team for exclusive content. That's just not going to happen. No one's ever going to really use that as a main platform for cooking, sewing, sports and fitness like they were claiming it would be. Now maybe I'm wrong and in 5 years we can look back at this video and point and laugh at how stupid I was to say that, but I just can't imagine OnlyFans will ever be able to get rid of its identity as an adult platform. That is what it is built upon and that is what it has become. And now today, in the most predictable backpedal of all time, OnlyFans announced that they made a mistake and will no longer be banning sexually explicit content. Who could have seen that coming? Now, before I really spread apart those ass cheeks and dive into the big story, I just want to say, I was right. I fucking told you so. I'm going to Gangnam Style on you real quick and wiggle my finger, letting you know I told you so. A lot of people said I was wrong and OnlyFans was never actually banning explicit content. They were only banning illegal porn, such as bestiality and incest and shit like that. But that's not the case. They did a blanket ban on all sexually explicit content. That was their plan, and they changed their acceptable use policy to reflect that. It seems no one actually read the acceptable use policy but me, so I want to share that with you now. Keep in mind this has changed, but when they announced porn would be banned, this is what they had in their policy. According to the new acceptable use terms, users would no longer be allowed to upload, post, or display content on OnlyFans that shows or promotes, advertises, or refers to sexually explicit conduct, which means No actual or simulated sexual intercourse, including genital to genital, oral to genital, anal to genital, or oral anal, between persons of any sex. No actual or simulated masturbation, any exhibition of the anus or genitals of any person which is extreme or offensive, or any actual or simulated material depicting bodily fluids commonly secreted during sex. They were doing a ban on actual pornography. It wasn't just illegal shit, it was any kind at all. Basically, with their new rules, had these gone through, it would have been only allowed to have solo images of you, just kind of like as an artful anatomical nude photo. That's about it. Like, let's say you were the Mona Lisa and your titties were out, that's fine. As long as those titties weren't honking milkers with a little bit of sweat on them or something, because that would fall under the bodily fluids and that would be banned. Or at the very least, it was vague enough that it would fall into that category. Same with depictions of the genitals that's extreme or offensive. Like, how do you even enforce that? The lines between the extreme and offensive would constantly be being blurred. Obviously, you'd have your outliers. Like, if 2 Girls, 1 Cup was on OnlyFans, that'd probably fall into the extreme category. But, like, if I just have a picture of my nutsack, I mean, that's kind of casual and playful, right? But I guess you could make an argument that it's extreme because it'd be like a close-up of my nutsack. But it's not like I'd be dipping it in candle wax or anything. So, I don't know. It'd just be very vague. So everything that was sexually explicit could fall into any of these categories and get you banned. So yeah, just wanted to prove that it really was a full Weenie Hut Jr. mode they were going with OnlyFans. It was a complete gutting of the adult content on their platform. So all the people that were spreading the rumors about it only being illegal content, that is just blatantly wrong. Now, of course, all of this came from payment providers pressuring OnlyFans to clean it up. And today they announced that, well, there's no reason to even have payment providers if there's no one to pay. Everyone fucking left OnlyFans. OnlyFans basically ran into a movie theater shouting fire and then were surprised when everyone left. And now they're desperate, scratching at their neck, worried about how much money they've lost now. And they're just trying everything. Please, God, come back. We're going to allow porn. We want to see your butthole. We support you, sex workers. Please, we mean it. Just look at our tweet. I love that this tweet starts with thank you to everyone for making your voices heard. It almost makes it sound like they didn't expect this to happen. Like if someone's boss just walks in and fires the entire office, I think they would expect most of the office workers to be upset. If I go and slash a guy's tires, I would think he'd be mad at me. I don't know what the fuck OnlyFans expected here. We have secured assurances necessary to support our diverse creator community and have suspended the planned October 1st policy change. That was the porn ban. OnlyFans stands for inclusion, and we will continue to provide a home for all creators. That's a broken household right there. That's an abusive home right there. That's the kind of home you go to and dad comes home drunk and starts beating you up for your lunch money and then kicks you out. That is not a home I think many people want to be in anymore. Most people are only using it temporarily before they make the full switch to other platforms, and the ones that did go back are doing it in conjunction with the other platforms because they don't trust OnlyFans anymore. And for good reason. OnlyFans tried its best to jump off a bridge to kill itself, but then everyone tried their best to bring it back in. Like, it's horrible. It's a very untrustworthy platform. Out of nowhere, they decide they're going to ban the only thing their platform is used for, and then out of nowhere, they say, okay, actually, we're fine now. Like, how the fuck did you solve the problem? So they kept saying it's pressure from the banks. The banks are forcing this. We have to do this. There's nothing we can do. And now today, it's like, hey, actually, no, we're good. No, we're totally good. We can have porn back. Fuck it. You know what? Christmas has come early. We want to see you spread your pussy again. Bring it on back to OnlyFans, baby. So what changed? And how? They don't communicate any of this. They're not a very trustworthy platform, obviously. So it makes sense why most people don't want to go back to it. I really am curious how they solved this problem, because the way they talked about it made it sound like OnlyFans was truly defenseless against the banks. Which does make sense. Banks hold a lot of power. If you're not able to process payments on your platform, it's probably not going to last much longer. Like, what are they supposed to do? If someone signs up to someone's OnlyFans, they just put $5 into an envelope and mail it to OnlyFans HQ? So it's absolutely like a real problem if the banks were forcing OnlyFans to make these changes, but the way that they were able to immediately reverse it today sounds like they may not have been as strict as OnlyFans led them to believe. And keep in mind, OnlyFans really wanted some investors from everything I read, so who knows? I'm not going to put on the tinfoil condom here, I'm not going to get into conspiracies, but I just wonder how they were able to strong-arm the banks so quickly into allowing porn back on the site. Really makes me wonder if it was ever necessary in the first place. Who knows, it also could have been a case of maybe the CEO was getting nostalgic. He was scrolling through all the creators on the platform. He saw big puffy nipples, massive areolas, titties, pussy, ass, cock, balls, everything, and he just started to get this sinking feeling in his stomach like, what have I done? This is all gonna vanish and it's because of me. You know, like that moment when they invented the nuke after the Manhattan Project and shit, now I am become death. OnlyFans CEO had one of those moments. He's like, I can't do it. I'm not pulling the trigger. Revert it. We need it back. I don't care what the banks say. This is for me now, god damn it. It's a passion project. So then he just green lights porn back on here without the banks ever saying it's okay. Anything's possible. All I can say is this was the dumbest decision I've ever seen a company make. Right up there with Tumblr banning porn. But this one was even stupider because this is a porn platform banning porn. So yeah, just a really shitty decision, and it completely fucked their platform, and probably will continue to fuck their platform even though they've reversed it now. They've proven they're an untrustworthy site, and most people are pretty fed up with that. Just wanted to talk about this again because this story is continuing to be a wild and wacky ride. That's about it. See ya. I'm not here to scare you, but what I'm about to share might put the fear of God deep in your soul. And by God, I mean AI. It is advancing so fast. Every day, there's new groundbreaking developments in the AI field. You remember the expression, seeing is believing? I think it used to be used for really bad horror movie titles, like their catchphrase, as well as talking about Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy. But it was really applicable to evidence. If you can see something, if you can hear something, it's real. It's hard proof. But not anymore. Just like the dinosaurs, that shit is extinct. Because a video or audio evidence no longer means it's authentic, no matter how real it looks. AI is getting scarily close to making fake videos that are indistinguishable from real ones, and alarmingly close, like right on the edge, like one fucking pubic hair of a bumblebee's sack away from delivering perfect audio synthesis. In order to demonstrate this point here with how good AI's become with audio, let me show you Obi-Wan Kenobi talking about some space pussy.
Luke, did I ever tell you about Ahsoka Tano? She was your father's exotic teenage alien apprentice, a fine piece of jailbait from a more civilized age. She had the tightest body and the perkiest little breasts in the galaxy, barely legal in most systems. Anakin and I used to double-team her at the end of every successful campaign during the Clone Wars, and once in a while we'd even have the entire 501st run a train over her. Part of official Jedi training, of course. In time, she learned how to handle a meat saber better than anyone in the Jedi Temple. She wore a miniskirt every day, so we told her there were no panties in space. And since she was constantly doing acrobatics, you'd get a glimpse of her orange pussy mid-fight as she'd do a flip while slicing a B-2 super battle droid in half. It was surreal. We taught her to grip her weapon backwards like a dildo, and she constantly got captured by pirates and slavers almost every other day. It was ridiculous, like a constant porno, Luke. You'll have no idea. And she was a good friend.
This legitimately sounds like a behind-the-scenes gag that the real actor delivered that was leaked onto the internet. If you had told me that this was a cameo that the actor did, kind of like Hank Schrader saying sussy in Big Chungus, I'd be like, oh wow, that's so cute that the real actor did this. Because it sounds so good. The intonation, the inflection, the pauses, the deep breathing, it is all one-to-one with Obi-Wan's performance in the movie. It is crazy how good that is, at least to me. I can't find a difference listening to him monologue about Ahsoka being the finest meat saber wielder in the system, and Obi-Wan lecturing Luke in the film. But by far the wildest part about all of this is that it's not just specific to Obi-Wan. It's not like they developed the Brazzers Obi-Wan protocol to just generate goofy scripts using AI Obi-Wan voice. It's extremely flexible and can do pretty much any voice that you feed it. It's a service called 11 Labs, and you can just upload your own audio as long as it's like a minute long and clear with no background noise, and it can make you a generated AI voice just like Obi-Wan's that sounds super, super close to the audio sample that you provided it. Like, the sophistication of this technology blows my fucking mind. Now, of course, this example is all in good fun. Who doesn't giggle listening to Obi-Wan passionately recall his sexual adventures with the rise of the Skycocker? But let's extend it beyond just silly, fun monologues about alien milkers' button cock. Let's talk about what you can do if you're a bad actor and there's someone you don't like. You know, let's say there's a celebrity you don't like. You could take a voice sample of them, plug it into this program, and write up some horrible shit and post it online, claim it's a leak. And there would be plenty of people that believe you, and it's kind of hard right now, at least for most people, to prove that something like this is fake. It's pretty advanced in that regard, but you can. Of course, it can still be debunked, but it can still do damage just because of how convincing it is to most people who aren't going to bother delving into it and looking for the evidence to confirm it being fake. And you can take that, and let's extend it beyond celebrities. Let's talk about someone in your personal life. Like, let's say you really don't like your criminology professor. You could just take a voice sample of them that you've recorded in class, plug it into this program, and then type up some racist shit, and then present it to the university board, saying, like, look at what this professor is saying in our class behind closed doors. This is unacceptable. I can't tolerate this anymore. This is fucking garbage. It is awful. And then that professor can get in huge trouble, maybe lose their job, get fired. It could be a massive issue for them, even though they haven't done any of that. It's all just been AI-generated voice cloning. It's a very powerful tool, and perhaps an even deadly weapon, depending on who's wielding this Excalibur here. Right now, most of the uses are people goofing around with it, having their celebrities deliver monologues, like Tim Allen coming out about his addiction to eating cat litter, or Jared Leto tearfully apologizing for consuming the blood of orphans to stay young. It's just this Pandora's box that's been opened, and no one's really entirely sure the implications this will have for the future. But it's as Uncle Ben famously said to Peter Parker, with great power comes great responsibility. And even greater tits.
Right from the beginning, I said she's got to have tits. Even though that makes no sense because her race, the Na'vi, aren't placental mammals. We had a shot in which Neytiri falls into a specific position, and because she is lit by orange firelight, it lights up the nipples. That was good, except we're going for a PG-13 rating, so we wound up having to fix it. We'll have to put it on the special edition DVD. It will be a collector's item. Maybe I should have considered a Neytiri Playboy centerfold. That would have been a good idea.
That's James Cameron giving an interview about the importance of the breasts in the Avatar Way of the Water. Now, if I had just heard that, I legitimately would have thought this was an interview where James Cameron just went fucking full mask off, unhinged, fawning over the Na'vi honkers. But it's AI generated, of course. Like, that's just the power of it. And if you think it's only, like, one person being able to do this, you're wrong. They can generate entire conversations. Here's Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson talking about 4chan janitors.
So it's saying in the genetic lottery that we call life, clearly some were more successful than others. And 4chan janitors in particular certainly belong to the latter group. So can you tell us what that means exactly?
It means if you take a large group of individuals, internet users in this case, you would expect a spectrum of abilities each individual possesses.
Okay, that's interesting. But what about 4chan janitors then? Where would you find them on the curve?
Well, you would find them at the end of the spectrum that the negative end, the bad side, you know?
Like they possess no valuable qualities whatsoever?
No, absolutely not. I look, if they did, you'd think someone would pay them.
Wait, are you saying 4chan janitors are not getting paid?
No, they're doing it for free.
No fucking way, excuse me. But that's like really...
Well, it's true. And I mean...
The AI is exceptionally good with Joe Rogan for some reason. I think there is like a ghost in the machine and it's gathered sentience and become a fan of Rogan because it fucking nails everything involving his voice.
Actually, Fuda can be made less gay than straight porn. You see, straight porn has one guy and one girl. Because you're fapping to something with one guy in it, that's 50% gay. If you watch Fuda fuck a girl, that's one girl and a half girl, thus only 25% gay. You could make it 0% gay with two girls, but the problem is that makes them lesbian, which wraps back to being 100% gay.
This one just sounded like a legitimate debate an argument had on his actual podcast that was clipped here and pretending to be AI. It was so fucking convincing. Like, you start to question what's real, obviously. Like, where does flesh, blood, and brain, real, organic Joe Rogan end and AI begin? It's it's blurring the lines of reality. And it's not just voices. At this point, they can do so much more. You may have seen there's a Twitch channel blowing up right now called Watch Me Forever. The program they're playing is called Nothing Forever, and it's 24/7 AI-generated Seinfeld episodes.
So, did you hear the latest news?
Not yet. What is it?
Scientists have developed an artificial intelligence that can do stand-up comedy.
Wow, that's amazing. Are they sure it's funny? I mean, what if it's really only funny to robots?
I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. In the meantime, let's stick to what we do best, making people laugh.
Agreed. To the funny people. Let's get out there and show him how it's done.
I've tuned into a lot of this content, the AI-generated Seinfeld, and even just from me watching it over the last, 24 hours, I've noticed it getting more and more meta and sophisticated with its, comedy writing. It's almost learning how to make better jokes to a certain level. Or at least sometimes. Maybe I'm just starting to get lost in my own delusion here from all of the AI advancing this quickly, and I'm starting to imagine it improving itself in real time, but I don't know. That's from the first couple of times I tuned in to minutes before I made this video, there was a drastic change in the writing quality, where before it was just saying a bunch of random shit. One of the jokes it told was, I went on a public bus and I sat on a stranger's lap, and it turned out it was my 3rd grade math teacher, and he whispered to me that I was his favorite student. And then he said, and then I saw that 3rd grade math teacher later on, and he said, heh. That was the punchline, then the laugh track. And then you fast forward to right before I made this, and also, don't get me wrong, that's a banger joke. That shit would slay in real life to a human being said it. It's killing it. It's doing a great job. But fast forward to right before I made this, and it was setting up entire punchlines. It feels like it is learning at a rapid rate. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about this because it is so fascinating. We are in a wild point in history right now. I think everything that we're witnessing right now is going to be instrumental in humanity 10 years from now. It's going to be in a place where it changes the landscape of pretty much everything we know in our day-to-day lives. And that's very, very interesting if you ask me. So yeah, that's about it. See ya. Deepfakes are evolving incredibly fast. I'm sure most of you are familiar with what deepfakes are, but in a nutshell, it's basically taking someone else's face and putting it on someone else's body, but it's not as amateurish as Photoshop. This is as convincing as it gets. It uses machine learning techniques, and it's really hard to discern what's real and what's fake because it also uses audio as well. It can do both. And in a world where people don't really look into the things that they see online, just take it all at face value, shit's about to get really confusing. Right now it's mainly used for porn, taking people's favorite actors and actresses and putting them in porn scenes to just kind of jerk off to that fantasy. And it's really impressive how far this is coming along. I still remember when deepfakes were in their infancy, still level 1, fucking tutorial level shit, not really convincing. People would send me deepfaked porn of me in the scenes, and it wasn't very professional at the time. I could clearly tell it was fake. I'd wiggle my finger, hey, wait a minute, that's definitely not me. I never did anything like that. It doesn't even look real, because the light didn't reflect off me in the right way. And also the actress that they plastered my face on, you could kind of see the outline of where I was thrown on. So I looked like a Halloween mask, and she was trick-or-treating for penis instead of candy this year. It just didn't really feel genuine. I don't think anyone would be convinced that it was me doing that. However, now that same underground community that keeps deep-faking me onto porn sends me shit these days, and I'm like, damn, when the fuck did I do this, huh? Was I drunk or something? I have to really second-guess myself sometimes when I get sent this shit. But at least now, if I ever do get into porn and I don't want to really admit it, I have a really good scapegoat. I could just say, hey, shit's deep faked. We've seen it a million times. That ain't me. I'll wear baby oil on one of my cheeks so the light really gets reflected off it hard in a real scene. But I'll be like, hey, look at it. It's artifacting right over there. Look at the cheek. That makes no sense. My skin doesn't do that. It's nice to have this fallback in case you ever do some fucked up shit. You just say it's deep faked, I guess. But it's really scary what could happen with deepfakes. It could get really confusing and really messy quickly for a lot of people. But until then, let's make fun of some really goofy deepfakes. I got sent one in an email the other day, and I thought it was the cutest goddamn thing. Someone deepfaked Keanu Reeves' face onto my body during one of the videos I made where I was showing my dogs a cutout. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. In fact, everyone in my life and on the internet thinks that I look like Keanu Reeves, but personally, I don't see it. I think I look more like Zayn Malik of One Direction, mixed with a little bit of Brad Pitt with a hint of The Rock thrown in there. I don't see the connection between my appearance and Keanu Reeves, but even still, I take it as a compliment. But anyway, I have this cardboard cutout, and the dogs, my dogs Kata and Tetra, freaked the fuck out. They were terrified of Keanu Reeves. Kata even pissed immediately out of fear. There are good deepfakes and there are bad deepfakes. What we're looking at here is a great deepfake. I look like someone just entered the big head mode cheat on 007 GoldenEye for the N64. I look like an Oblivion creator character that's glitching out. The shadows for some reason are so strong here, it looks like Keanu Reeves has been dragged across mud on the ground and now his face is all swollen. He looks like the blueberry girl from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory moments before she exploded. This is like the Doodle Bob version of me. This is the sleep paralysis demon that the real Keanu Reeves sees at the edge of his bed. This just looks like an unholy fusion of me and the Babadook. My face looks like it's been poorly cel-shaded in a Telltales game. Now obviously this here, as an example, isn't exactly the top limit of what deep faking can do. It's just a fun little goofy one that I'm sure he threw together pretty quickly. So I'd like to thank Mr. Baconman17 for this deep fake. It's pretty fucking cool, I guess. Anyone's welcome to deep fake me and shit if they want. Maybe I'll like deep fake review occasionally or some shit like that. Because I find the whole thing extremely interesting. We're on the cutting edge of incredibly futuristic sci-fi technology. Pretty soon with this kind of technology, we could quite literally have Abraham Lincoln acting beside Marilyn Monroe in a new Terminator movie. An entire movie made completely with AI technology like this and have it convincing as if Abraham Lincoln was really acting with Marilyn Monroe. The possibilities with this technology are unbelievable, but they're also extremely scary. But until it gets scary, I love looking at these fucking goofy deepfakes, so that's about it. So yeah. Moist. I know this all feels like a wet dream, but trust me, this is reality. If you need a moment to change your sodden panties, I understand. This is real. In the search for perfection, we succeeded. A project 6 months in the making, with the world's top scientists all working towards one goal: to create the most comfortable white t-shirt imaginable. That's right, my first piece of merch in about 5 years is the world's most comfortable white t-shirt. I thought it made the most sense, and it's something that I'm genuinely going to wear every day now because there's no going back. Once you put on the Moist by Charlie white t-shirt, your third eye truly opens. I want you to think of the most comfortable moment of your life. What are you picturing? Maybe when you were in your mommy's tummy? Just a little developing embryo, a little fetus, you were real comfortable in there? Well, amplify that by 10. That's how it feels to wear this white t-shirt. It feels like being born again. You owe it to yourself to get this level of comfort. You've suffered with mediocre shirts for long enough. It's time to upgrade and step into the next dimension. I'll put a link to the shirt down below, so feel free to pick up a pair or even 3-pack, because I always used to get my white t-shirts in a pack of 3, so that'd be fun to offer that as well for these white t-shirts. And yeah, this is just something I'm really proud of because it's something I am genuinely going to wear all the time now. Now, we all remember when I outshined Jennifer Lawrence in the Hunger Games franchise with my unforgettable, timeless performance as the District 8 helper in Mockingjay Part 1, and I went back for seconds. I had to upstage her once again. She had this commercial for Dior, and I thought I could do it better, so I did. That's what you just watched. There's something I've often said, and I still stand by the statement, that YouTuber merch is usually very lazy and cheaply made for as much profit as possible, and it's stuff that isn't really something you'd want to be seen wearing unless you're trying to get spit on and bullied. And I've just never been a huge fan of a lot of the ways YouTubers do their merch. So for mine, I really wanted to go all out to make sure that it was something that was extremely comfortable to wear and not some memey shirt where you have to be in on the joke or know the YouTuber in order to, like, appreciate it, you know? Like, Boob Juice Chungus, oh, I recognize that, cool shirt. I wanted it to just be something where it's like, this feels nice to wear, and it's not something that's kind of silly. Now, of course, a white t-shirt isn't the most inspired idea ever. It's not exactly an innovation. I'm no pioneer. It's like the most basic idea ever. But we pulled out all the stops to make it the ultimate white t-shirt. I wanted it to be something that I would be proud to wear every day, and it absolutely is. It feels like a hug from grandma. So I'm really happy with how they came out, and I hope you all really like them as well. Now, this isn't the only piece that we've been developing in the top secret laboratories, but this is the one that I wanted to show you all today because I'm extremely excited about it because I'm going to be wearing it exclusively from now on pretty much. So I just wanted to let you all know that it's available now. Just click the link in the description below, and just really happy to finally get this to everyone and hope you all enjoy it. I'd also like to clarify something real quick. This isn't a pre-order thing, so when you make a purchase, it's going to immediately start the shipping process and get to you. It's not going to be like what we did for Godslap or the Gentleman Vinyl where we did pre-orders and then it shipped after like a month. We were led to believe that was the most efficient way in the industry standard for shipping. But as you all know, with Godslap, for example, it took like fucking 2 months before people started getting it because that fulfillment center had a lot of delays and a lot of problems that went on, and that was an absolute nightmare. So also, we're never going to be using that fulfillment center again, that group. Just want to make that clear. And it also happened with the Gentleman Vinyl album, where there's also been a delay there, so it's going to be an extra week. So basically, I will never be doing pre-order shit again because it's just fucking trash. So I just wanted to make that clear. When you make an order, it will get to you ASAP. No more like waiting or a pre-order period or anything like that. I'm never doing anything like that again. So yeah, super excited about this and I hope you really enjoy it. That's about it. See ya. What the fuck's going on, everyone? It's Soccer Mom Charlie here, ready to tell you what my least favorite video I've ever made is. The video that I think is by far the worst pile of shit I've ever made, and most people agreed. Now let me take you back to the past. The year is 2012. It's an interesting time. Only 90s kids remember 2012. The Mayan calendar said in December of 2012 everyone would stop being able to ejaculate, thus the world would end or some bullshit like that. BioWare also didn't suck huge wiener holes. Mass Effect used to be good. I know it's hard to believe now, but Mass Effect was a very strong series and one of my favorite at the time. Now, Mass Effect 3 was slated to come out very soon, and in order to get myself hyped up and get everyone in the mood, I came up with this banger of an idea for a video where I would make a bunch of weird-looking characters in the Mass Effect Create a Character section, and I would sync them moving their heads left and right to a song. In my head, it seemed like such a fucking great idea, on par with Turbo Hotness, which is the porn video I made, where I took the porn star Euphrat fingering her pussy to the sound of Through the Fire and the Flames, and I synced those up. And to me, the Commander Shepard video that I made back then was like the precursor to that. Like, I couldn't quite grasp the porn set to Through the Fire and the Flames, so instead I settled for a video game character moving his head to a shitty song. Now, I made the video, and it took me over 6 hours worth of editing to sync up his head movements with the song's hits, and I was so goddamn proud of that work. I thought for sure this was going to be the one to put me in the history books. I'll go ahead and show you the result of all that hard work now, and trust me when I say it's not pretty. It's certainly not a good video. It is a shitter. It is a big old stinky one. I know many of you are probably very disappointed that a supreme intellect being like myself, an enlightened euphoric redditor like me, was able to even conceive something as childish and juvenile as that. I know it's disappointing, but I did. I made that and it took me over 6 hours. And I know it doesn't seem like a lot of work, but a lot of fucking work went into that. Let me tell you that. I went on a goddamn hunger strike for like 6 hours for that. I didn't leave my computer. Damn near gave myself some deep vein thrombosis making that piece of shit. So I went through the, the fire and the flames for that one for sure. And the results, it just didn't translate. It's not a good video, and pretty much everyone agreed. When I initially posted it, it was met with overwhelmingly negative reviews, like a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes, basically. And I got very upset, and I was like, shit, I worked really hard on this, but they don't like it, I'm taking it down. So I took it down like an hour or two after I uploaded it, but then I looked at myself in the mirror, I was like, Charlie, you worked so fucking hard on this, you're gonna post it again, and this time they're gonna love it. As if someone had just deneuralized the Men in Black style, rewrote their memories to make them love the video. Getting myself hyped up like a boxer before the fight. Come on, Charlie, you can do it, like slapping my own ass, getting myself ready in the zone. So I posted it again, and again, everyone hated it, and I was like, shit, okay, it's done. It's never seen the light of day. I'm gonna pretend like I never posted it, my account was hacked. So I took it down again, and then I waited until the next day after I fucking lost sleep over it, I waited one more time, and I posted it one more time, and this time it was met with overwhelmingly negative reviews again, but I wrote it out. I was like, Charlie, you worked hard on it, and it's alright, you enjoyed making it, so I posted it again, and I think that is a lesson in this video everyone should take away. If you're proud of something and you worked hard on something, fuck what people think. Unless it is like super shitty, like really bad. Yeah, Commander Shepard, the video I made, it's not good. It's a stinky dog shit diaper, but it's not like I'm gonna be thrown in jail because it's such a shit video. It's just, a bit of a subpar one. So, be proud of your shit. Unless it is really bad, then at that point, yeah, maybe just forget it happened. But anyway, this is the answer to the question I get, what is my least favorite video I've ever made? It's Commander Shepard, because I put a whole lot of work into it, and it got nothing but insults, you slimy vermin. It's a great video, god damn it. But yeah, anyway, that's the answer. It's a shitty video, to be honest. And that's it. Don't forget to go to twitch.tv/moistcritical, baby. Fuck yeah. See ya. I have been paying very close attention to the Twitch bot apocalypse. I've kept my finger on the pulse of it. I find it to be a really interesting topic here. For those that don't know, a few days ago, Twitch made good on their promise where they swore they would be making bot detection and eradication a priority. They finally called attention to a issue that has plagued Twitch since the beginning. Since the genesis of Twitch, in the primordial soup of streaming, there has been bots that have infected the platform. And for the longest time, Twitch had gone really hands-off. They said, you know what, if we don't put our hands on the stove, we won't know if it's hot. But recently they said that they were going to actually be directly attacking this bot issue. And a few days ago, they rolled out their first targeted strike here on bots. And boy, howdy, it was a doozy. Apparently, the overall viewership on Twitch went down as much as 24% compared to last week, with many big streamers suddenly losing thousands of viewers. Not just big streamers, streamers of all shapes and sizes lost tons and tons of viewers, like across the board. It was a pretty big purge of invalid traffic, bot activity. As I said a couple days ago, I was pretty surprised with how hard they hit the ground running here. I thought it would just be like lightly poking the bear, like, oh, we got rid of like 100 bots. Big W, Twitch is saved. But no, they kind of they dropped a bomb here. It was a pretty big deal. So big, in fact, that a lot of streamers, many suspected of being a view botter, had just decided not to stream for like the last week or so, inexplicably. Just randomly deciding not to stream during the bot purge, which of course has everyone raising an eyebrow, and of course all of this has led to a lot of finger pointing, a lot of shit stirring, a lot of spitting, a lot of farting and coming. It's been kind of pandemonium in the streaming space as people are noticing view counts have been dropped from a lot of streamers, and in some cases drastically. So the natural conclusion people are drawing is they were view botting. And as I predicted, and as everyone predicted, nobody wants to own up to being privy to their channel being view botted, because that's against the rules. They would get banned. No one's ever going to admit to it. So it's been a lot of cope and a lot of excuses, like, oh, it must have just been this stranger over here that's been doing this and I had no fucking clue. I'm glad that it's getting solved. Everyone is talking about this as a positive thing. Meanwhile, in the background, there are people that no doubt are shaking their fist in anger in demanding that their botting service get it under control and fix it because they need those viewer numbers to go back to where they were. Because obviously, if it doesn't, people are going to be aware there was some fraudulent activity there. And the only question remains, did the streamer know? Like, were they guilty of paying for the service themselves? Or was it like an org they were affiliated with? Because according to a lot of the data, all of which is public, by the way, you can see all of the viewer numbers post and pre-purge. All of this is public. So you can see a lot of streamers that are affiliated with an org, like OTK is the big one everyone's talked about. But not just OTK, there were other orgs coming under fire as well. Namely, FaZe was another one that people had a lot of question marks over their head with, because a lot of the streamers affiliated with FaZe also took huge drastic drops in their viewership during this purge. So the speculation is that these orgs are boosting the numbers of some of the streamers under their umbrella, because by having more successful streamers under their brand, it's good for the brand. Obviously, the motivation is to make more money, because you can make significantly more doubloons if the streamers that are under your blanket are more popular. So if you boost your streamers by thousands upon thousands of viewers that they don't legitimately have, you can still bring those numbers to brands that would be none the wiser in the partnership. And according to some other streamers, there's been actually quite a bit of talk from streamers about orgs even like softly admitting to doing this in certain cases. I don't know like all the particulars around that, but there has been like a lot of discussion that orgs do actually do this. Like, it's not just a full-blown conspiracy theory, but then the question becomes, well, do the streamers under these orgs know about that? Like, there's just a lot of questions now after all of this bot detection and all this bot purging. It's been a flood of questions, like Yahoo Answers just got revived. Did the streamers viewbot themselves? Was it a member of their community viewbotting the streamer? Did the streamer, are they a victim of like a stranger, a malicious bad actor trying to artificially boost their numbers to potentially ruin their reputation? Is there a super fan of the streamer that's trying to boost their favorite streamer to make them more popular because they just love them so much? Does the streamer know that the org they're affiliated with might be boosting their numbers? Just so many questions. And another big discussion that's come from all of this is about sponsors. Allegedly, some sponsors have been botting sponsored streams in order to make it seem more popular to the average viewer. So they'll artificially boost those numbers so it seems like there's more hype around the product, and they've also been accused of botting even beyond sponsored streams, because by being partnered with that streamer, it's better for their brand if that streamer is perceived as more popular. So they'll boost them even beyond the sponsored stream, just so that way they can use it as marketing material, like, hey look, we're partnered with this big guy. And meanwhile, a lot of the viewership is botted by the sponsor, allegedly. But I also want to mention that in only 2 days here, it seems that there are some botting services that have already found ways of circumventing these bans. There are some streamers that have miraculously bounced back after a 3-day plummet to not only where they were, but in some cases even higher, despite nothing changing in their content and doing nothing different. So it does look like in certain cases, some bots have found a way to evade this. So I'm hoping this isn't Twitch's only action here against bots, because as I mentioned, it's going to be an ongoing tug of war. And it is good for the entire platform to do your best to stop bot activity. Fake, phony, baloney numbers are bad for all of the streamers on the platform, except for, of course, the ones that are paying to win in the streaming space, which is another thing. There is a very real possibility, and something that has been talked about by some of the biggest streamers, that a strategy that used to be used and is probably still employed to a certain degree is some streamers would bot their streams for a while to try and grow an organic viewer base, and then they would completely stop paying for the botting service and just let the organic numbers start to take over as more people assimilate into the community. So, of course, this is never going to detect that strategy, but even still, Twitch needs to do everything it can to stop bots, because it is very bad for everyone on the platform to just let this rampant issue continue and spiral out of control. Now, I think I need to explain why I have this perspective, and so many people have this perspective, because I've seen a lot of people downplaying this as like not a big deal, like this is a fucking nothing burger. Who cares about view counts? If you can pay for it, you should do it. It gives you the advantage in the space. You gotta stand out in the market, so if you can do anything to get an edge, you gotta fucking do it. And yeah, you're right, it's a saturated market, so obviously buying view bots is going to immediately help you stand out by floating to the top of a category, so that way some curious Georges will see you at the front there, and they'll click because you've got the most viewers. So obviously there's a lot of hubbub there, and they want to see what all the fuss is about, so they'll check out your stream because you have artificially inflated the numbers, and then you have now occupied that viewer, which takes it from another streamer that is legitimately streaming to an audience and a real community of people there to watch them instead of just an army of clankers. In fact, the argument kind of mirrors something from many moons ago when Twitch was still pretty new. I'm going to take you back to the past to talk about some titties and ass. There was a huge trend on Twitch for a while with something called booby streamers, if anyone remembers that, where there was a trend on Twitch where streamers would try and wear the most revealing clothing that Twitch would possibly allow in the most sexual of positions, and constantly putting cleavage as like the main hook to draw viewers in. And this drew a lot of outrage because people believed that by doing that, they were stealing viewers from their streams because they weren't showing cleavage and everything. It was a huge debate that raged on for years, actually, and people were always split on whether or not that was the case. Was this streamer with cleavage stealing a viewer from this guy over here who was building a brazen bull in Minecraft? Well, the jury was always out. But in this case, there is clear data, clear-cut, irrefutable evidence that viewbotting your streams and fucking leapfrogging your way ahead of everyone that is legitimately streaming with less viewers than you does actually steal the viewers from them. You are directly competing in the exact same content, but you have now floated more visibly to the top through artificially inflating your numbers, fundamentally paying to win, and cheating the system. That 100% does take viewers away from the actual streamers on Twitch. Across the board. It's not a debate, and it's not like a competitive advantage. You are cheating. You are breaking the rules of the website too, by the way. Twitch just doesn't choose to enforce them very often. They have just let this go unchecked for an extremely long period of time. But it's not allowed. You're not supposed to be able to do that. So this, again, is not a debate. So, the problem is, that shit sucks. That is bad, not only for all the streamers that are doing it legitimately, but it's also bad for the platform. I'm actually kind of surprised Twitch doesn't face more hot water for their handling of bots for this long, because while Twitch on their back end can identify fraudulent traffic and adjust your ad revenue for it, that is something they've talked about before, how, like, if you viewbot a stream up to 2 million viewers instantaneously and then just start farming ads, Twitch will go and analyze that traffic to see if it's real, and they will adjust your earnings on it. I've seen them talk about that. While Twitch can do that on their back end and not lose their ass on that, you know who can't? Brands that work with streamers. The way a brand partnership works when it comes to streamers is they base your pay on your metrics. And the metrics that you provide, well, that's not going to account for bots. They can only go off the information that is accessible. And they don't have that back-end ability that Twitch has to go in there and see, well, who's a real viewer versus a fake one? Like, how many bots are here? They only have your metrics. So that's your average viewers, which could easily be hyperinflated because of bots. So what streamers can easily do, and definitely have done, is they boost all of their numbers to really high levels that they really are not achieving organically. It's not real viewers. It is all fraudulent, invalid traffic from botting services. They will inflate their viewer numbers. Then brands will approach them, or they will approach brands about doing a partnership or a sponsored stream, and they'll provide those viewer numbers, which will have the brand then give them higher pay than what they should be receiving. And the brand will pay this money under the impression that it's being served to X amount of viewers. And those viewers, they're assuming, are real, legitimate human beings with a pulse, but in reality, a lot of times, it's being served to bots. Aren't even there, aren't consuming it at all. So they're paying a lot of money to be put in front of bots without their knowledge. In some cases, of course, that's not every case. As I mentioned earlier, there are some brands that have been accused of botting the sponsored stream itself in order to float more visibly to, like, Twitch in whatever category they're in. So there are definitely some brands that are more than fine with using botting services to make it seem like it's more hype and there's more interest in this sponsored stream. Like, wow, there's 20,000 viewers here to watch, the poop that took a pee 2.0 just dropped. Look at all these people in here that are watching this sponsored stream. Meanwhile, it's the agency itself that is paying to boost those numbers. So both of these things happen, where a brand will be none the wiser that what they are paying for is not getting served to real human beings that they expect it to. It's getting served to bots. And there are some brands that pay to actually just use the bots to try and generate this artificial hype around something. The way that bots function in the Twitch ecosystem is fucking crazy. I really am kind of surprised Twitch hasn't faced more problems from these companies for it. Like companies that might feel defrauded. Like they paid hand over fist to these streamers based on these viewer numbers only to learn, well, they're all being botted because Twitch does not care about botting. They kind of gave the soft green light that they're not going to crack down on it and don't really give a fuck. I imagine some brands would be really pissed to learn that. And I'm surprised they haven't called out Twitch or tried to handle this litigiously or something about it. I don't know, I just found that to be a little interesting because it is very clear botting is a huge issue on Twitch. When they finally took their first real step in fighting against this menace, their overall platform viewership dropped 24%. And that's just the first snowball in an avalanche of bots, I imagine. That is the first wave. Can you imagine if Twitch actually deleted every bot from the platform? I wonder how high that percentage drop would have gone. You know what I mean? Now, in reality, I don't think that's ever going to happen. It's a very tall order to fight and delete every bot when these services are constantly going to be doing everything and spending tons and tons of money of their own to evade bot detection because they have so many clients that use them. There will probably always be bots on Twitch. Not only on Twitch, it's obviously on YouTube and every other streaming platform as well. I understand that. And also, I feel as though Twitch might be apprehensive about this anyway. Like, if Twitch had a magic button that they could press it, and it would guarantee every bot and all invalid traffic would be banned on Twitch from this point forward and could never return. It'd basically be like in K-pop Demon Hunters when they fully seal away all the demons, they can't return. If Twitch could do that right now, I think they would be very apprehensive about it because we just saw them take one step in fighting bots and they lost 24% of their viewer base over the last few days that it's been there. Like, that's a huge drop. And if they did it even harder, that number would only climb. And I imagine they would be worried about all of their brand partners starting to jump ship like, oh no, Twitch is dying. Look at this graph. You see how there's no more views? It's all dried up. Time to pull our ad spend from Twitch. I think they would be worried about the future of Twitch if they did that because their viewer count numbers would be so much lower, significantly lower, that they'd probably be getting hit financially pretty hard from all of these sponsors that are paying money to be put there. And brands don't really care about, the nuance of what the numbers say. They only care about what the numbers indicate. So most of the brands, I imagine, would see this. And in fact, some of them are probably already worried with the 24% drop. But if it got even higher, some brands would probably see this and they wouldn't take into account it's all bot activity. They would see this and be like, nope, this is dangerous. This is not worth the ad spend. We're pulling out. And even if they did bother to take a little bit of time looking into it, they might feel slighted by Twitch for letting this bot problem persist for so long, and they were spending so much money for what ultimately amounted to a lot of invalid traffic. So I think Twitch would be really skeptical about getting rid of every bot, even if they could. Which is why I was so surprised that they went this hard out of the gate against the bots and actually did make a dent in it. And I hope they continue to do this. I hope that they didn't, pump the brakes oh, that was a lot. We took a big viewership hit there from all this bot stuff. Let's maybe, pull our punches a little bit here. I hope they don't go down that path. I do hope they continue to make this a priority and do legitimately try and get as many bots off of Twitch as they possibly can. Anyway, that's enough blabbering about it from me today. That's about it. See ya. Today I want to show you something that will undoubtedly scare you, have you trembling in fear, wetting your britches. And no, it's not a picture of me without a beard, but it is something equally as terrifying. AI! AI technology is advancing at a rapid rate, and it's reaching levels only thought possible in science fiction. That experience you just had of your heart sinking from my masterclass in jump scares is the natural reaction to AI. It's showcased that the flesh is cringe in machines of the future. Pretty much anything humans can do technology can do better, AI can do better, rather, and that includes entertainment. I have been glued to AI and the entire industry that's bloomed from it for years now. I have been like a moth to a flame following each and every development and new AI product that's come out because it is fascinating and at the same time a bit startling. Now, I think it's naive for people to write off all AI as evil and saying we should ban AI outright and never pursue it. I think that is such a dogshit way of looking at the technology. As with every new innovation, there is good and bad that comes with it. It's some certified goofy goober goofball shit to just write off all of the good things AI can do for humanity and focus instead on only the bad things they can do. I'm not here to get into the nitty-gritty of like the pros and cons of AI. I feel like you should be able to immediately recognize some of the incredible things AI can offer, especially in the medical field. But again, that's not what today's topic is. Today I want to show you and talk about a viral clip on Twitter that's going around that has to deal with AI in the music industry.
You might notice that I sound like Kanye West. No, Yeezy didn't record a voiceover for me for this video. I didn't learn how to do impressions. This is AI.
So let me come back to my original voice for a second because this is crazy.
The caption of this video says that it'll change the music industry forever, and that's 100% accurate. This technology will forever change the entire landscape of the music industry. It's important to realize that AI technology, especially when it comes to voice models like this, are still very new. And they're already advancing to a point where they're starting to get pretty goddamn convincing. And right now the main usage is just shit posts like having Joe Biden and Donald Trump playing Overwatch together and experiencing gamer rage and shit, or making goofy AI generated tracks. But this technology has huge implications for the whole industry going forward when it comes to music. And it's already advancing very quickly. I made a brief mention of my own AI voice that's been getting used on YouTube pretty often about like 3 months ago, where they had me singing Rap God. And I was like, damn, that sounds pretty good, but you can easily tell that it's AI at some points because words get all mumbled and jumbled. It sounds like I'm overdosing on Xanax sometimes. Like, it's clear that it's not perfect, but it can and most likely will be in a relatively short period of time. So in this example with his Yay voice filter, you can tell that something's a bit awry there. It doesn't really sound 100% accurate. It sounds a bit glitchy, like something's wrong there. So you can tell it's not actually Ye speaking, and he also goes 10 seconds without mentioning Jewish people, so you know for sure it's not actually Ye. But if you're just hearing that, you'd be raising an eyebrow, like you would have to second guess, like, oh, whoa, was that actually Ye?
Now all you have to do is record reference vocals and replace it with a trained model of any musician you like, which is exactly what I did. I found this Kanye style beat on YouTube. I wrote 8 bars and I'm gonna record them now, and then I'm gonna have AI Kanye replace me.
So before showing you the results of that, I would like to mention that he did covers of popular songs with this Kanye voice model, and they sound very convincing. Even knowing it's AI, it is pretty fucking convincing. Now, how this affects the music industry should be obvious, and he explains it there. You don't really need the artists to come in and do full songs anymore, and they don't even have to write the music themselves or perform it. They can just give you reference vocals, and right now, there's services where if you just have a minute of uninterrupted audio from anyone, it can make and train a pretty decent AI model on it that sounds pretty good. Now, imagine that extended to a professional level where, holy shit, it's going to sound very close to the real artist. That's alarming. You'll never know if the music you're hearing was actually created by humans or just AI. AI is actually extremely good at creating songs themselves. There's entire channels dedicated to just AI-generated music, and it can do pretty much every genre. And that even includes, like, metal. There's actually some pretty fucking hardcore AI-generated metal tracks out there right now. So, for the music industry, you could have AI make all of the songs and only rely on reference vocals. So you wouldn't even need to like pay an artist to perform or make an album. You would just pay an artist to come into the studio one time, or maybe even a handful of times if you really want like a perfect model, to record these reference audio samples, and then they would just use that forever to make full albums based on that. And that artist would never actually make the songs themselves. They'd just kind of be the face of it. Meanwhile, AI is doing all of it. And not to sound like a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist, but I really do think this will end up being the reality of the music industry in the future, because it'll just end up being cheaper, like more financially viable for these major labels. Instead of hiring like bands or artists to make the music and perform it, they'll just save money by having AI do all of it and then just using the voice models they've trained. Because as this technology continues to develop, it's going to be easier to use and cheaper as well. So that's just my bold prediction here.
I got a fantasy that's beautiful, that's dark and twisted, but I attacked the whole religion all because of my ignorance. What was I thinking? That was some bitch shit. I lost Adidas, but I'm still Yeezy. Back in the kitchen, man, I'm a genius. Boys in the hood, just like I'm easy. Kanye, Wheezy, Southside of Chicago, life ain't easy. All praise be to Lord Jesus, Donda, please rest easy.
I got a fantasy that's beautiful, that's dark and twisted, but I attacked the whole religion all because of my ignorance. What was I thinking? That was some bitch shit. I lost Adidas, but I'm still Yeezy. Back in the kitchen, man, I'm a genius. Boys in the hood, just like I'm easy. Kanye, Wheezy, Southside of Chicago, life ain't easy. All praise be to Lord Jesus, Donda, please rest easy. Alright, let me cut it there.
Pretty spooky stuff, and I think it's understandable. A lot of people on Twitter were pretty unsettled by it. And I also agree with quite a few people on Twitter that pointed out that it's pretty diabolical to put a bar about Ye's deceased mother in here and then have AI Ye rap it for you. I think that's pretty weird. But it does lead me to something else I'd like to briefly mention, even though it's not directly related to the AI in the music industry per se. It is just AI voice models in general. I've talked about this a lot, but going forward, as these continue to become better and better, you can have these AI models say anything. So pretty soon, when you hear like audio recordings that are leaked of politicians or movie stars or something, you're gonna have to take all of that with a grain of salt, because pretty soon all of that's going to be very easily faked. I actually made a video showcasing some AI voice models for Obi-Wan Kenobi, for example, where he was talking about Ahsoka's orange pussy and how she was one of the finest meat saber wielder Jedis in the entire temple and stuff like that. Like, it'd be very easy to just have these AI models say anything to try and get people in trouble or try and start shit online. Like, it could go easily beyond shit posting, where it's just like jokes, to a point where, you can really kind of fuck someone with it.
And keep in mind, this is the worst that AI will ever be. In just a few years, basically every popular musician will have multiple trained models of them. And also the UI, the front end of this, is all going to get a lot simpler.
Again, he's 100% right. We are currently in the worst stage AI will ever be. It's only going to get better, and significantly better. It's already getting huge steps forward every couple of months. It just gets more and more mind-blowing what AI is capable of.
You're going to be listening to songs by your favorite artists that are completely indistinguishable. You're not going to know whether it's them or not. And I'm just starting to think of all the good, all the bad that's going to come out of this. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments, so drop those below.
Oh, I'll let you know what I think, all right. I'll give you a piece of my mind, and it won't be a comment. It's a whole video. I think there's not a lot of good that comes from the AI voice models in the music industry in particular. I don't see many positives. Now, I know there's people that will probably try and spin an argument that it's great because now you can have deceased artists still releasing new tracks thanks to the AI technology. So, for example, Michael Jackson already has a few AI voice models that are pretty good. So you could release new Michael Jackson tracks, but I would argue that's not a good thing. Like, that to me is kind of fucked up. He's dead. He can't consent to having new tracks come out post-mortem here. It just feels so creepy and disgusting, like fucking his corpse like a necrophiliac for the sake of making money off of new tracks from his name. It doesn't feel right. The artist is gone, and the music they made should rest with them. That's the music they poured their heart and soul in. They made that with their own blood, sweat, and tears. And to dig them up with these voice models and have them releasing tracks that they had no part in making is just, I think, wrong. I don't think that's a good thing. To me, I just really feel like that ruins and belittles all of the hard work they put into their career before they died. It just kind of dismantles the whole legacy, because then there's new tracks coming out that they didn't make and they might be shit. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of that. Let me give you another example, one that pertains very personal to me. Linkin Park. I love Hybrid Theory and I love Meteora. Chester Bennington has passed away, unfortunately, and I would be extremely upset if they started to use AI voice models in order to have Chester Bennington deliver vocals on new Linkin Park tracks that start coming out. They have recently released 2 new tracks, but those are tracks that were actually recorded by Chester himself. So those tracks still have the very human element to it that I can appreciate. So if they, 5 years from now start releasing new Linkin Park tracks with Chester Bennington doing the vocals, I wouldn't like that. I really would feel like that'd spit in the face of all of the incredible work that he had done throughout his career. So I don't see that as a benefit, and that's like the only argument I could see people making for a good thing that can come from the AI voice models in the music industry. Everything else I think is just negatives. You'll have significantly less people entering the industry because they have to compete with all of these mega corporations that are just churning out these massive mainstream hits that are all generated through these AI voice models, from the most popular artists of all time. It'd be very difficult to compete, and most people aren't going to get signed to a label because it'd just be cheaper to use AI in the first place. So I just don't see a whole lot of benefits to the music industry for this kind of AI implementation. Now, that's not to say that I think it should be banned. I'm never really on the side of banning things, especially when it comes to stifling potential innovations. Maybe I'm just a little short-sighted in potential benefits that this technology could have. Like maybe if the artist themselves wants to start using the AI voice models to help complement their work, or even, weave it in with their own, personality inserted into it, I could see that maybe working. But again, I just don't exactly know. But overall, I don't think it should be banned, but I also don't think it offers anything super beneficial to the music industry as a listener of the music. I only see the financial benefits to the companies, which I don't really give a fuck about the companies. My heart's not breaking for Universal Music, who has billions of dollars to spend and now just can cut corners using AI technology to fuck their artists even harder. I just don't see a lot of great things with it, but I do want to highlight the technology itself because holy shit, I cannot believe how quickly all of it is advancing. This AI technology is unreal, and I can't even imagine where it's going to be in the next couple of years. So just wanted to talk about it a little bit again, and that's really about it. See ya. Whatever you do, don't turn around. You won't like what you might see behind you. It's AI. It's everywhere. You may even be AI soon, if you're not already. I've made so many videos, fear-mongering for AI, to be honest, but I really can't overstate just how big of a deal this technology is. Every single time I say that everything is going to be affected by it, every job, every industry, everything, people doubt it, and they'll have these holdouts for things that AI won't ever replace. And I just have to sit there and giggle and put my pinky to my lip like Dr. Evil as I once again say, firmly, you're fucking wrong. AI is such an unbelievable innovation, it's incomprehensible the effect that it's going to have on us in 10, 15, 20 years. Once again, look at where we started with Will Smith eating a plate of spaghetti that looked like some kind of LSD fever dream type experience, to now, where you can have a very convincing video of Will Smith eating spaghetti and you need him to come out and deny it in order to confirm its authenticity. But for some people, that wouldn't even be good enough because he could be lying. He could be lying about eating that spaghetti, or not eating it for that matter. It's so crazy how quickly it's advancing. And one of the big things that I think is going to be affected probably before any other major industry is music. AI music is in a state that I didn't even recognize was this far along. There's a few tools to make AI music right now, but by far the easiest and most accessible, also probably the most sophisticated, is one called Suno, which I was using on stream and just goofing around making dog shit AI songs, but the songs themselves aren't really dog shit. If I didn't tell you they were AI and you just happened to have heard that in the background of a YouTube video, you might legitimately think a person made it. It's already come so far from the beginning of AI music a year ago where it was really easy to tell that it was all AI generated, but now it's getting tough. So I just wanted to show you this. I'll tell you right now, the eclipse tomorrow, or 2 days from now, isn't going to open any kind of portals. It's not going to do anything. The Hadron Collider, the Devil's Comet aren't working in cahoots to bring forth the Antichrist or anything. But I will tell you something that doesn't have anything to do with the eclipse, but is bringing about a doomsday, is AI music. How many of you heard of Suno? Because I only recently just checked this out. This is alarming. So I've been playing with an AI music creator called Suno, and it is making jams that I would have no idea is AI. So you can put in your own lyrics or whatever, or you can have it generate based off a prompt. So let me just show you a couple. I was trying to make like a Deftones style song, but you can't use an artist name, so you have to just describe the music. And I basically just spit out lyrics in 30 seconds about someone's dick breaking in half. And the AI does an unbelievable job with it. It's fucking frightening.
In the cold of night, I tug and pull on my most sensitive piece.
Thanks to Tier 1 Cloudy.
I felt a fear and fright as I looked down in horror, my wiener's deceased. I scream, I shout, what happened to my knees, my piece.
It wouldn't let me type penis, so I did penis, but he just says penis, unfortunately.
From the cage, it's pulled the cage, I'll be down to two. I scream, I shout, what happened to my.
But it's like not, it's actually just not bad, which is the worst part. And this is still so primitive. It's so scary.
It's pulled the cage, I'll be down to two. Alright, for my schlong. What happened to my schlong?
And that is a great hook. What happened to my schlong? I didn't even put that in there, by the way. That was the AI just starting to feel itself and get into a flow state, so it hits you with the what happened to my schlong. I could see an arena going crazy for that. But this has been out for, I think, about a month now. V3 just came out, I think, 2 weeks ago. And I was under the impression that it was still remarkably primitive. Like, it wasn't good or anything. And then I saw people on Reddit making songs, so like, I glued my balls to my butthole again, rubbing and tugging on my nips. And I was like, wow, this actually sounds like music. Like B-tracks on a 60s vinyl. So I went on here and I was like, maybe this is just an exception. But no, it just churns out pretty good sounding music. So then I let it totally generate the lyrics and everything for this one, and it came up with the Wiener song. The only prompt I gave it was Wiener, so it made this.
In the cold of night, a strange commotion woke me up. I felt a tugging sensation. I couldn't make heads or tail. Find that ran through my veins.
But this sounds like something you'd hear in like The Hobbit when they're marching up the mountain, or when they're on their way to the Erebor or something. This is just Devil May Cry music. But yeah, like I could see that in Guilty Gear today. So then I did it again. I tried to change it a bit more. I really wanted to try and hit some kind of industrial metal sound. Since it was starting to get the Deftones, I was like, let's switch it up. So then I gave it another prompt, and it was just sax. So it made sax in my mouth. It was feeling some type of way, I guess. And this one I was pretty impressed with. I did not write these lyrics, by the way. This is purely AI generated. This fucks unnecessarily hard. Yeah, I could see this in an anime today. Why all metal? I don't know, I just wanted to see if it could do any decent metal. So then I said this was on the right track, but I wanted more, so I changed the prompt. This one was growing a second asshole, so it made evolutionary shift, and this might be its best work.
In the circle of life, things are just the same, but I woke up.
It's so passionate.
A transformation like no other I've seen.
I poop twice as hard. I'll give it that prompt and we'll see what we can make. But this is just so alarming that this exists and it's already at this stage. Nothing is safe from AI, and you guys need to understand that. You need to get it through your fucking thick skull. Nothing. Everything will change with AI. Here's a Prime Restless. Imagine if Disney Quest had this technology. True. 2 anuses strong. Amen. I have no doubt that a ton of artists are going to be using this. Maybe not to like fully make songs, but to kind of steer their craft. AI is just going to be integrated into everything. Actually everything. So here, that guy said, I poop twice as hard. Let's see what it makes with that. What kind of style? Oh, Midwest emo is not bad. Yeah, let's see a Midwest emo track for I poop twice as hard. The power of perseverance is what it gave me with that prompt.
Sometimes life knocks you down, leaves you on the floor, but I won't stay defeated. I'm ready for the war.
Where's the poop here? Oh, here it is, the chorus. I can't wait to see how that one hits.
Challenge that comes my way, I'll push even harder.
Very snappy.
I'll prove twice as hard, no matter how tough it seems. I won't give up, will surrender.
That's pretty cool.
I'll stay resilient, won't back down from the fight. Prove twice as hard, yeah, I'll shine
Twice as hard. What they needed there is like a powerful one there. Just like an echo in the back. Poop twice as hard. Emotional country blues regret is the style of music. I don't know if it'll let me do they let me do ball torture.
In the darkness of the night, the pain begins.
Thanks you some Twisted and Anya.
A twisted game of pleasure where agony amplifies the weight upon my chest.
Man, makes you want to get a lighter out.
Building slow. I can't escape the torment. It's a sick and twisted show. The knots of agony tighten as my body rises in pain. Ball torture, the brutality will never be the same. In the depths of agony, I'm lost in this painful zone.
This sounds like the song they played at John McCain's funeral.
I can't escape, can't atone.
Yeah, the ball torture ballad. That's the one. Had a meth head steal our tractor at work today and ram our gate 7 times before the police came. Jesus Christ, Dean, I'm sorry to hear about that. I'll write you a song for it. Okay. That was at least 200 words per minute, I'm just gonna say. That was kind of fucking clean typing. Can we just acknowledge that real quick? This is the Stolen Tractor Blues for you, Dean. Let it wash away your troubles.
Well, my name is Dean and I got a tale to tell.
Tell it, Dean.
About a reckless soul and a stolen tractor as well.
What do you do?
Not just in a tractor, it was our pride and joy. But that meth-head thief he wanted to destroy.
Shit. Sing it.
Roaring in, ramming our gate with rage. 7 times he hit like a wild animal in a cage.
Gooning for Christ. That's not bad. Do like break. Here, we'll mix 2 different styles very, very seamlessly. We'll do breakcore gospel. And see what it makes with that. That feels like it's gonna be tough. This might not even work. Chorus goonin' for Christ, that's what we do. Woo. Singing praises, lifting hearts, all for you, Lord, it's true. Kind of lost the plot in here somewhere along the way. I'm a goon for Christ, ready to spread your love. You like that? Lord have mercy, I done gooned again. Tripping on my own 2 feet, can't pretend. All right.
Lord have mercy, I done gooned again. Tripping on my own 2 feet, can't pretend.
Oh, I came in hot. I can see playing Sonic Frontiers to this. That's nice.
Can't get it right.
Oh, here it comes again.
Lord have mercy, I'm gonna get today. When I rise up, learn to fly, and find that I'm on fire. Like a pathfinder.
Oh, that was a perfect time for Goon. See, if there was a real human soul behind that music, at that, like, drop right there, it would have been Gooned again! Something like that. But overall, I could see myself playing some Dance Dance Revolution of that, fucking full combo it. So this is how Disney made the songs for Wish. You're probably not wrong. I'm actually very curious. Let me write that one down in this style. Well, I don't know if I can use Disney. This is a great... Okay, this is a really good title it came up with. Messes and Memories, for the dude who was telling me about the guy that came in and took a shit on his floor at work or whatever. That's a banger title. Very Blue Man Group. Thanks for tier 1, Boney. Woo! That's kind of flames.
Holding back the gag, oh I couldn't cope. Cleaning up the chaos, it felt like a joke. But we won't let this ruin our vibe. We'll clean it up with a smile so wide.
Did you clean it up with a smile on your face, brother? Is that how that went, jailer? I bet you did. I bet you're happy. That was a fucking... Wow, what a chorus. I'm getting a thumbs up in that one. What a fucking chorus on that. Turning poop into laughter, that's how we show love. Oh yeah. Fuck, that's good. That one goes Insano style. Let's do a sea shanty about testicular torsion.
There's a condition that can cause a fright. Testicular torsion, a painful twist. Gotta fix it fast, can't resist. Take care of your jewels, don't let them.
Hey, that's not bad.
Medical help, don't let it utter. Testicular torsion is no good news. Listen to your body, don't let it abuse. On the islands where the palms.
This is some,
scurvy can strike.
is it the Wiggles? I think it was the Wiggles.
Vitamin C is
It's like a Wiggles track.
Lemons, oranges, a citrus feed. Take care of your jewels, don't let them.
Or like Ailstorm. That's pretty good.
Testicular torsion is no good news. Listen to your body, don't let it abuse.
Early 2000s commercial ad. Yeah, true. I tried to be as very specific about cuckoldry as possible. It did not like that. Okay. The lyrics are inspired. Damn it, stop breaking up. The chorus is actually kind of good. Damn, stop. I'm trying to listen to Voyeur of Love. I'm fucking with the aux cord. I like that. In this world of passion, it's just me, her, and you. That's fucking great. I like that line a lot. It did a good job with the cuckoldry lyrics. The metalcore, not so much, but chorus was kind of nice. Really good final line. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get AI mixed up in the Kendrick J. Cole beef. Oh wait, can I don't know if it'll let me use names and lyrics. Let me see. I know you can't do that for style of music, but I don't know if you can do that for lyrics. Wow. It immediately spit that out. This is Battle of the Titans. Let's see what AI's gotta say.
And it felt that terrified. I should have first it off. Throwing punches with precision. With that cool ain't no thing. But they ain't friends. It's all about the competition. Spinning fire on the mic. No room for repetition. I've been fighting off. No room for repetition. Knock it off. Throwing punches.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't know this style very well. Yikes. Well, maybe trap music might be safe from AI. It's like what the Disney Channel would have put out for a trap song.
This is the battle of the giants, the showdown, the kings. Kendrick versus J. Cole, hear the crowds as they sing.
Alright, so trap music might be safe from AI. That's looks like we found one genre that's gonna be okay for a little bit. This sounds like the Lonely Island. Yeah. Diddy vs. Dan Schneider rap battle. Okay, we'll do that one next.
Markiplier walked in with his goofy smile and his heart full of sin. He ordered up a plate of
It's more like Kavinsky. Like Night Call.
Was about to be brought. A rowdy crowd gathered, tension filled the air. Someone spilled a syrup, not a soul to care. My fruit out his napkin, ready for a fight.
Pretty cool though.
He ain't leave until his waffles are done right. Waffle House mayhem, fists flying in the air.
This is fucking cool.
Caught up in the chaos, so it's not fair. Tables are crashing, syrup spilling everywhere. In the midst of the madness, Art shouts, I just wanted a good breakfast affair.
That was so cool. I like that one a lot. I like that. It's really working hard on this Viking sound. We already know it can't do trap, but we'll see how it does with hip-hop. Just general hip-hop. This is Clash of the Titans. I don't know if I'd necessarily call Dan Schneider one of the titans of the rap game, but what do I know?
He's the king of the game. Ruling the charts, bringing forth.
This is the same. Whoa. Hey, I thought I wouldn't notice. They used this exact same line in the trap Kendrick J. Cole beef track I tried to make. Uh-oh, I'm catching them red-handed. They are not equipped for hip-hop or trap at all.
He's got his own crew, making hit shows, reaching audiences too. P. Diddy spitting beats, dropping rhymes so tight. Dan Schneider green character shining so bright. But they both want the glory, they both want the crown. Who will come out on top, who will take them down? P. Diddy and Dan Schneider clash up the Titans.
This is so bad. This is so shit.
In the world of music and television, they're battling it out, no need for indecision.
This is making me feel embarrassed. Like, it's a machine, and yet I'm feeling embarrassed for it. That actually just makes me feel bad. It's good at everything else except hip-hop, it seems. This is horrible. So it looks like hip-hop, trap, It's gonna be okay for a little bit. Goober ass beat. I don't know where they're getting the fucking beats from. I don't know what they're cooking with that. Is this one any better?
But he did it, he's the king of the game. Ruling the charts, bringing fortune and fame. But Dan Schneider, he's got his own crew, making hit shows, reaching audiences too.
Yikes.
He's making beats, dropping rhymes so tight. Dan Schneider, shining so bright.
Yes, my favorite hip-hop beat, the one that sounds like Eiffel 65. I tried to get like a little more, because I think if I just did JFK tossing my salad, I'd only use it for a line. So I'm trying to give like tone indicators.
A weird sensation in my mind I couldn't erase. I had a dream about JFK, oh my, what a surprise.
Cool
But
line.
in my dream he did something that caught me by surprise. JFK, why'd you toss my salad, baby?
Ooh, that's crispy.
It's driving me crazy. Salad sensation, a strange fascination. JFK, what we thinking, what was your motivation?
That's good.
I called my therapist to talk it through. She said sometimes dreams need.
It's not really like an Irish pub song, though.
But I can't shake the image, it's stuck in my head. JFK tossing my salad, now I'm catching myself wondering what he said.
That's pretty good. Shadows of the Truth. I like that. These titles go so fucking hard. That's great. Shadows of the Truth for an Epstein didn't kill himself song. The AI knows.
In shadows deep, the story unfolds. Conspiracies grip, the secrets it holds.
I like this.
A mystery untold. The evidence presented, a puzzle of gold.
Wait, whoa, camera's malfunction.
Cameras malfunction, guards fall asleep.
Oh, wait, it's on to something.
Timeline is twisted, suspicion runs deep. Autopsy report, it's hard to believe. Was justice served, or did power
This is like the new Rasputin song.
After staying of himself, the truth we pursue. The whispers in the darkness, they echo as truth. Uncovering the secrets, exposing what's been done in the shadows of the truth. Justice will come.
That's great. I like that a lot. Thanks, membership. Ewo. Some smooth things jazz.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la.
I do fuck with this one. This one's got a whole full 2-minute song for it. It's passionate. Epstein didn't kill himself. Oh, cut it. It's buffering. Unlucky. The NSA just took down the entire service.
In shadows deep.
No. Is it DJ Khaled that it has an issue with? You're telling me it'll make an Epstein didn't kill himself song, but it won't make a DJ Khaled as a samurai?
John F. Kennedy, a president with some applause. With his sword in hand, he fought for
Brings a tear to your eye.
JFK, the sun.
It's like the soundtrack to Nier Automata. The JFK battle song. Yeah, imagine this comes out like Metal Gear Rising.
The streets light with anticipation, a motivated motion, excitement filled the air. Letting the shots ring out, piercing the hearts of the nation.
Fuck. Do an anime intro style synopsis of the events of D-Day. In the sands of Normandy. This is like almost a good educational tool. Like if I was a teacher, I'd start just fucking generating my lessons with the fucking Suno AI here. Just have anime AI music sing the lessons for me. Not bad. That ain't bad. When was the last time you heard about the metaverse outside of it being the punchline to a joke? It's a complete disaster, an all-around failure that only exists to be point and laughed at, ridiculed and insulted. But it really is the comedic gift that just keeps on giving. It's kind of like the Morbius of technology, where certain companies are being gaslit into thinking that it's popular and a worthwhile investment. So every now and then you have these delusional suits that try and make the metaverse work, and try and capitalize off it and monetize it for their own company. And that's what just happened, where they tried to have a fashion week in the metaverse, but nobody showed up, and it was a just downright catastrophe. Luckily, CNN just ran a story on it, so we get to see exactly what it looked like, and holy shit, it actually looks like something out of Transformers Beast Wars from the late 90s. It is repulsive. It is so awful to look at, and they're huffing this copium that it was like a success and that the only reason it wasn't more popular is because not a lot of people have adopted the technology yet. It's too cutting edge. Our simpleton minds can't really grasp the magnitude of this technology. That's why it's not catching on like wildfire.
Bold, bespoke, and entirely digital. This is high fashion that you can't touch. Fashion Week in the metaverse as brands turn to the internet for haute couture's new horizon.
This shit looks like a fan-made event in Second Life, but this is haute couture's Fashion Week. Hopefully I didn't butcher the pronunciation of the high fashion brand, but I swear to God, the costume contests in City of Heroes back in 2005 looked better than this. And also, you can see the attendees there, all four of them. That's the whole crowd to look at the avatars walk through and then emote. It's so shitty. Like, even worse than I would have imagined it. This seems like they threw it together in 5 minutes and tried to capitalize off of some kind of like metaverse hype that is completely non-existent. There hasn't been hype in the metaverse for quite a long time now. Even the parent company is trying to kind of like bury the metaverse and focus more on AI these days. It's just so sad and pathetic.
We change how we dress for different things, right? It's the same in the metaverse, and it's the same in social media. We dress differently to represent these things. These are the armors of our life.
Last year, participants bought 7,000 wearables for their avatars, averaging around $10 per sale.
I love how they're not even bothering to do the bare minimum of the fashion in-game. It's the fucking digital landscape. You can make anything happen there. You can have fucking 5 laser titties on the dresses going fucking wild if you wanted to, but instead they're just making boring, normal dresses. Like, take a page out of Left 4 Dead Modders playbook where you can have, like, Shrek teaming up with 5 T-Rexes or something and then have them walk across the metaverse runway. Like, they're just barely doing anything at all in there, calling it the armors of their life, which is super cringe. So they sold a few thousand wearables, and I guarantee every customer right now is spitting and shitting in rage at how worthless of an investment that was. Luckily at $10 each, it wasn't life-ruining unless you bought a ton of them, which hopefully no weirdos thought was a good idea. But yeah, I guarantee all those wearables have done nothing but collect dust and have seen no use at all.
An e-outfit can easily cost as much as a real-world dress, even if it's still far less than the price of haute couture. But this year, unique visitors and sales were down nearly 50%.
That's probably being generous. It's probably a lot more than 50%. There is nobody left in the metaverse. That shit looks like the Fallout 3 wasteland. Like, there is absolutely no signs of life in the metaverse anymore. It is completely flatlined. I also love how, even in this segment here, they can't get the fucking thing to run at more than 3 frames per second. It looks like they're playing the metaverse on the Nintendo Switch right now. Like, they can't even bother to get it to be a smooth video here to showcase the haute couture fashion.
Organisers blamed the lacklustre turnout on the relative newness of this online world. In only its second iteration, the virtual event faced criticism about its user experience, its value, and whether digital fashion is really necessary.
I'll go ahead and quickly rapid-fire answer all of those questions for this soulless, stupid company here. There is no value. It's completely worthless. It's not relatively new. This actually looks like something out of Roblox, but significantly worse, and runs far worse at fucking 2 frames per second. And then that final wacky question and criticism about if digital fashion is even necessary, the answer is a resounding no. To extend that topic to a broader point, there is obviously a place in the digital landscape for cosmetics. Take, for example, CSGO skins. I always use this as an example. The skins are purely cosmetic. They are there. They are expensive because they look cool and they are rare. But they're part of a larger ecosystem. They're part of a game, an incredible, timeless game. So when you're playing that game and you have these cosmetics you spend a lot of time opening cases for, or if you saved up and bought on the marketplace, you can use them. You get value out of them for your own user experience. However, in haute couture's runway wasteland, you get nothing. You buy a fucking dress, then what? You can't do anything with it. It's not a game. There's nothing to do with it. You are actually just flushing money down a toilet. That's it. Except it's far less embarrassing to just flush money down a toilet as opposed to spend it on a fucking worthless Victorian-era dress in a dead game, in a dead universe.
Even Mark Zuckerberg's Meta has recently shifted its attention from virtual social spaces to artificial intelligence. But some brands and content creators are continuing to experiment regardless, alongside some of fashion's biggest names.
I don't know what content creators are doubling down on the metaverse. Even the ones that were really on board with it initially are no longer, at least not from what I've seen, but maybe I'm completely ignorant to a blossoming community of metaverse fashion enthusiasts somewhere out there. But even still, there's clearly not that many of them, considering what a flop the fashion week was in the metaverse.
I think it's about bringing some utility to what they have been creating in the crypto virtual space. So for example, BNG, they are not presenting their own creations, they are presenting the result of a creators competition. So I think it's like really reversing the discussion about, okay, what you guys are creating, how we can take that as our food for creativity.
So you're making furry fashion here with this showcase. This is the opposite of utility. It's the absence of utility. It's actual just greed to make a fast buck off people that are buying into this fantasy of the metaverse being popular or the future. They're basically just trying to capitalize on fear of missing out, constantly driving home the idea like it's really new and it's really early, you might want to get in here and get some of these cat dresses, or whatever the fuck all of that was, space cat line. I have no fucking clue. It's all literally just there to be a predatory monetization model for an idea that didn't pan out.
So I think everybody became more comfortable saying, well, maybe this is the way we communicate. So definitely from a customer adoption, we saw that. People trying on filters, be more comfortable, testing NFTs.
This poor lady's brain must be trapped in some kind of time dilation. She's perpetually locked mentally in 2021. She just dropped NFTs unironically in a positive light. Like, it has nothing to do with people being comfortable in the metaverse or wanting NFTs. NFTs are pretty dead and buried for the most part as well. That whole trend is 6 feet under for the most part. The metaverse has already come and gone, and it never even came in the first place. It never even got there. Like, there isn't this world, this ecosystem that she thinks there is there. Clearly, like, they didn't have incredible sales off rip, and then they experienced a 50% drop at least in the following year. Like, that should be a very clear sign that this was not the direction the industry or humanity is going right now.
For designers too, more at home working with silks than lines of code, it's been a new arena, some reimagining old designs digitally.
One of the things that we were encountered with was that the train, for example, couldn't be longer than proportionately four or 5 feet or something like this. And that's the dress right behind us being brought out.
The story then interviews some of the fashion designers who have taken the plunge into the hellscape of the metaverse. Some of them are taking old designs and pumping them into the metaverse, and then some of them are making designs in the metaverse and then trying to recreate them in the real world. Either way, it's still fucking worthless. Like, the metaverse dresses and all of that, they don't have any value because there's no game, there's no anything to do with it, there's no world there. There's nothing. So it's just completely pointless.
Powered by blockchain technologies, metaverse fashion in spaces like Decentraland still require a huge amount of energy to run. Neither will the metaverse likely eradicate our demand for fast fashion, but some hope it will bring about positive change.
This is just a horrifying segment here. Not only does the game look like a PowerPoint moving in like an actual flipbook speed, but it is just horrifying to look at. If someone recreated me in the metaverse and I looked like that, I'd be shaking my fist in anger and researching how to send a cease and desist notice. Because, good lord, that is criminal how fucking unappealing the game looks. I don't even know how you make a game run this shitty or look this bad in the modern age. That takes a special level of incompetence.
I think that it will become a space where people will be able to buy and wear clothes that they may not be able to afford in real life, and I think that's one way of bringing our fashion to the masses.
I've heard that sentiment a few times from a few different places. I just don't see that happening because, again, you don't have anything there besides just buying that dress and having no reason to ever equip it or any use for it, because there is at its core no game and no world and no people. So what is the point in spending the money on that dress? If it's a lower price point than the real world equivalent, it doesn't matter when there's nothing to use the dress for. The reason people buy the expensive dresses in the real world is a status symbol for their friends or people in public and people around them. Like, they buy those items because they want to be seen in those items. Whereas in this game, no one will ever see it, thus why would anyone ever want to purchase them? The whole thing is so nonsensical. It's once again just desperate clinging to this idea that the metaverse isn't dog shit. But unfortunately, the reality is it's very shitty, and there is no value in the metaverse currently. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this because I saw the story today on Twitter. That's about it. So yeah. For a few months now, there's been these rumors circulating online that OnlyFans was going to ban porn on their platform, but I don't think many people took that seriously or believed them. They were treated like flat earthers with this wild conspiracy because it's such a dumb, wild idea that it just seems impossible. OnlyFans banning pornography would be like skydiving schools banning parachutes. It just immediately kills the entire business and kills people. People are literally going to be dying from overload of nut buildup in their sack because OnlyFans actually did it. They banned porn. Now, the rumors weren't 100% accurate, but they were pretty close. Today, OnlyFans came out and said that after October 1st, sexually explicit content will no longer be welcomed on their site. October 1st is right around the corner, so doomsday is approaching, the apocalypse is on its way. Perhaps this is what the Mayan calendar was trying to predict but got it wrong with 2012. Maybe this is what they meant. Armageddon is coming. Now, OnlyFans continued to elaborate a bit further, saying creators will continue to be allowed to post content containing nudity as long as it's consistent with our acceptable use policy. This is where I got a little confused. So they're confirming you can still have your titties out and maybe even goatseeing yourself in short videos, but you can no longer cross the threshold into sexually explicit content. But how do you distinguish what's what? Like, what is an artful ass spread versus a pornographic asshole spread? Is it going to be like Key and Peele where they look for 3 pumps? If you pump 3 times, that's a fucking penalty and you're off OnlyFans? Or is it only if it's like multiple people and actually engaging in sexual activity? I couldn't really find anything that detailed what's going to separate those. So right now there's still a bit of confusion in the community, but this is a developing story. It is actually just 10 minutes old as of making this. So I imagine these questions will be answered at some point within the next week or so. But for now, I'm just left with my dick in my hand wondering what's next. The more I think about it, the more confused I get. Like, the deeper into the weeds I go, the more lost I become. So does it only mean, like, if multiple people are in an OnlyFans post, like if they're actually having sex, that's bannable. But if you're alone taking nude photos and videos, that's okay? Even if you're putting like a dildo in and out of your pussy and butthole and mouth? Is that not sexually explicit because you're alone doing that? And if so, where does that mean anytime there's multiple people in an OnlyFans post and they're naked, it is automatically bannable? Because there's a video where someone puts a golf ball into a girl's open gaping butthole. Is that bannable, or is that like more of like an artful athletic thing by OnlyFans definitions? Now, I don't know. It's just hard for me to really understand because they haven't clearly defined what is and is not going to be allowed. Now, one thing I've seen a few people and quite a few outlets mention is that OnlyFans isn't only about porn, and in fact, recently it's been focused on fitness, sports, gaming, music, and cooking. And I have to say, what the fuck is wrong with you? If you think OnlyFans is a platform that's mainly about shit like cooking, you need to be admitted to Arkham Asylum ASAP because you are clinically insane. OnlyFans is, if someone says I'm subscribed to Gordon Ramsay's OnlyFans, I'm not expecting to go on there and find recipes. I'm going on there hoping to see Gordon's wiener. Like, it's no one hears OnlyFans and it's like, oh, in fact, my favorite athlete's on there. He was teaching me how to hit a baseball better. Oh, I need to go check in on Jose Canseco's OnlyFans so he can show me where Bigfoot's hiding. I understand there's other content on there that's not adult-oriented, but that is not the bulk of it. OnlyFans is mainly a platform that people recognize for its adult content. So all of these people that are delusionally stating absolute nonsense like OnlyFans isn't going to be hurt by this, in fact, it's only going to help them because adult content isn't the bulk of the platform. You're wrong. You're just absolutely wrong. OnlyFans is synonymous with pornography and sexually explicit content, and it has been for a long time now. I have absolutely no problem with OnlyFans, as I've said multiple times. I think it's actually a really healthy platform because it gives people their own power to create the content on their own and make money off it instead of having to rely on some kind of shady adult company that takes advantage of them or does some really fucking awful, sketchy things behind the scenes. They don't have to engage with that kind of company. They can take that power for themselves and do it through OnlyFans. At least they could until now. So yeah, obviously a lot of sex workers are now pretty upset about this because now it's back to going to these awful fucking companies as opposed to doing it themselves in a healthy, safe way on OnlyFans because that's been taken from them. Now apparently this decision came from pressure from banks on OnlyFans. I also understand OnlyFans was having a hard time getting like investors interested in the platform because it has porn on it. But I still don't, like, they don't need investors. They made, what, like fucking $5 billion last year? I already forgot the number, but they're making astronomical loads of money. I personally don't really get the decision to fold to this kind of pressure, but I also don't own OnlyFans. I just have a page on there with 0 followers and a couple of foot videos I made undercover. So I don't really have a huge horse in this race, but it is still baffling to me that a platform would do something so counterintuitive to its own success. It's like when Tumblr killed itself with its porn ban. OnlyFans saw the shit-covered path Tumblr went down and decided not only to go down the same path, but to fucking belly slide like a penguin down it with their mouth open just eating all of this shit, and do exactly what Tumblr did by banning the main thing people go to the platform for. Nobody really uses Tumblr anymore, and I imagine OnlyFans is going to take a big hit. I don't think this is going to kill OnlyFans immediately, but it's going to really start to bleed it out. There's a lot of room for competition now since this ban has come into place, and since they haven't fully pulled the trigger on getting rid of everything adult-oriented, they still allow nude photos and I guess nude videos as long as it's not pornographic or sexually explicit. I'm not really sure. Then I'm assuming they will still have some of their audience, but it's going to absolutely drive a lot of creators off the platform. There's no doubt about that. I do wonder how long they'll allow nudity on the platform for, since they seem to be going Weenie Hut Jr. route here and making it about cooking, sports, and fitness for some reason. I can't imagine that nudity will be welcomed on there too much longer since they've already taken this huge first drastic step. So we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe OnlyFans really will pivot from a porn platform to a place to get just some wonderful Thanksgiving recipes. I'll have to maybe recommend some OnlyFans creators to my mom. Like, who knows? Maybe that's what's right around the corner for the future of OnlyFans. But anyway, that's about it. See ya. Come on in, class. Professor Charlie's got an important lesson he's got to teach you on internet safety, it seems. How can you stay safe in this wacky, wild cyberspace? You guys remember the early 2000s where there was the DARE program, which would be people coming to your school to tell you that drugs are bad, but it actually had the opposite effect and made people want to try drugs because the program really glorified it and made it seem cool to do drugs, and it reminded kids how easy it was to find them. Super inefficient program all around. Wouldn't be surprised to find out it was financed by the cartel. I think the DARE program is responsible for more overdoses than the actual opioid epidemic, but all that's besides the point. The reason I bring that up is because I need to do like a little DARE course here for internet safety, but mine's going to be a lot more efficient and just hit you with real fucking tough love. Stop clicking links in the comments section of my videos that look suspicious. Holy shit. Over the last 6 or 8 months, I've received so many emails and Twitter posts about my comments section having very suspicious links in them. Some people even accusing me of running a bot farm that's scamming people in my own comment section, as if I'm leaving fucking links to RuneScape phishing sites in the comments to steal your username and password, or whatever the fuck you're clicking on down there. Stop clicking links in the comment section, not just on my videos, but on any videos and Twitter posts. It's a very common thing right now. There are thousands of bots and scammers that are impersonating YouTubers and organizations, leaving comments like, click here and I'll double your Bitcoin. Click here and 5 big-tittied women will come suck your dick tonight. And then for some reason, people are actually clicking these things and then getting mad at me for it, as if I'm your fucking dad that's supposed to come over there and slap the mouse out of your hand before you make a bad decision, or put like a parental block on your computer. That's not my responsibility. I think it's common sense not to click that shit. There are systems in place to remove these things, which of course are all turned on, but these bots and scammers aren't stupid. There's easily ways to circumvent these measures, so of course some of them still float around. But it should be obvious not to click dumb shit like that. Like, I can't even believe it needs to be said, but I keep getting these emails. By far the worst ones are the people that are convinced that I'm the raid boss behind it all. It's actually raining out right now all of a sudden because the fucking heavens are sad that this even needs to be said. No lie, I've received emails that read like shitty fanfic from Tumblr before. People say things like, I'm so disappointed in you, Charlie. I saw the comment you left on the video, and I clicked that link, but I never got the gift card you promised me. I can't believe you'd lie to me like this. They'll say, like, you know, you asked for my credit card information, and I trusted you, so I gave it to the site in order to win the gift card. And now I just don't think I can support you anymore. It's been months. I still haven't received the gift card. It's crazy to me. Like, how could you possibly do that? You should not have a credit card in a situation like this if you're going to make a decision like that. Like, it's unreal. Let's just break this down like a second grade math problem. Just really strip this down to its bare fucking butt cheeks here and analyze this in even the most simple way. Why the fuck would I be leaving comments in my own comment section on an alt account asking for your credit card information? Those wacky numbers on there. Why would I do that? And why would I be doing a gift card giveaway down there when it wasn't ever mentioned in a video or anything? Just ask yourself the simple question of why? And then you should draw the conclusion that maybe it's not real. There are tons and tons of fake accounts that spam dangerous links in order to get your information and scam you, and they impersonate YouTubers and organizations, and it should be pretty obvious when that's the case. There's a lot of ways to identify when the account is fake. Easiest being like a verified checkmark if that's applicable, but even if it's not, you can usually pick up on it based on what they say. Why would Mr. Beast say something like, "Look at the honkin' milkers on this woman, and she's waiting to fuck you, click here"? You know, like, that doesn't sound like something Jimmy would say. I mean, you know, call me crazy, but I don't think I've ever heard him say anything like that. So why would he all of a sudden, out of nowhere, drop a link like that, you know? Just, it should be without explanation. Like, I shouldn't have to sit here and try and tell you to stop clicking links in the comment sections of videos. I really think it should be a given. But I keep getting these emails, so I wanted to make a whole video educating you on it. Don't be a dumb fucking loser that's desperately clicking on links in the comment section of videos in the hopes that they're gonna get laid or somehow double their Bitcoin. It's not gonna happen. So all in all, stop fucking clicking dumb links in YouTube comments. It's that easy. And Twitter comments by extension. That's it. See ya. Robots have always been this holy grail of technology. In pretty much every sci-fi movie ever, there's robots present in some capacity. And every time someone thinks of like the deep future, they're always thinking of humans and robots living side by side, you know? For as long as I can remember, I've read articles and people have always said, robots are right around the corner. In another 10 years, robots will be fully integrated into human lives. You know, in 2010, 100% guaranteed robots will be able to live in your home, go out to the store and get you new grapes, and also come home and eat your ass. But we still haven't gotten there yet. However, I've watched quite a few videos over the last month or so of like where robotics is at, and I feel like we are actually getting to a point where it's almost feasible, where like this artificial intelligence and this robot drive is finally getting to a point where it's like, starting to take shape. I can kind of see it now a little bit. It's not super advanced to the point where I'm sweating and fearful of the Skynet situation where they eradicate the human race. So far, the most impressive thing I've seen is a robot that's able to make goofy facial expressions like they're a TikTok comedian. She's called Amica, and she can do things like this. And it's like, yeah, that's pretty fucking incredible. Those are like actual real human emotions if someone was having a bad LSD trip. But it's not something that has me sleeping with one eye open and doomsday prepping by digging in my backyard for a fucking bunker of safety or anything. It's just kind of cool, and I can see this as the building blocks for where they're trying to take it, where robots can actually emulate human emotions at some point. Let me go ahead and show you the Amica footage real quick so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Have you heard about Amica, the humanoid robot? No. Sounds cool. Some iRobot shit. It doesn't seem that realistic. Like, I wouldn't be confusing this for a human.
So Morgan, tell me, you've got Amica there next.
Is communication and is for interaction with
the robot
other
looks so
people.
nervous.
Amica is the pinnacle of what we can do, but
How did you actually build the robot to look so
Why is
human
it
with those
winking? Is it
expressions?
flirting right now?
well, what we do is we first look at a
It
real
looks like
human.
me when I used to get
It's what we call
blackout drunk but
animation
pretend I was
first.
still
So
sober.
What does a real human do? Easy to automate
LA
those
Noir
expressions,
facial expressions.
because whatever
True.
the mechanics do looks lifelike in the future. Well, I'm talking probably 10
Robots
years
just
before
don't
you're
really
actually gonna
need
see
a
something like
face,
this
though.
walking amongst us.
Like, what
Are you
benefit does that
expecting
provide?
in, say, 10, 20 years, robots that can run across a field at speed?
So, like, this is what I think all robots... Like, if we do get to a point where robots work in, like, the service industry and shit, this is exactly what I think they'd need to look like. They don't need, like, a fucking face that emotes at me. I don't need to wonder if my waitress is a human or synth, you know? Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't do anything. It's just a waste of resources. Just make it functional.
Artificial intelligence have you baked in terms of the communication capabilities and
Oh, Amica's fully sentient.
understanding and responding, even speaking to you?
We even gave her a soul.
Hello, Amica. How are you?
I am doing well, thank you.
No, Amica.
We can.
Can you shut the fuck up?
We've
So
created
talkative.
Amica.
Jesus Christ.
So it's a fantastic thing to do. It's a fantastic technology.
I don't know when you can fuck it. I didn't make the Amica robot. Jesus Christ.
I
Ask
hope
him.
over the next 10 years.
But better
we
yet,
can
ask
continue
Amica.
innovating and continue.
Thank you for the interview.
Thank you, Amica, for being here.
Anytime.
Bye-bye. Yeah, so they basically created Jim Carrey bot. And I think it is cool that she's able to do so many facial expressions, but it still doesn't look super human-like or anything. It still looks Five Nights at Freddy's-ish. Very robotic, obviously. But you can see that the evolution is there. Like, this is brand new, and it's still constantly evolving. So it could get to the point where, you know, if you see Amica out shopping, you'd be like, huh, who's that lady? And why is she sniffing the cantaloupes for so long, you know? She could perhaps convince you of, like, actual, you know, human emotions, I suppose. But my point still stands that I made when I first watched this. I don't really see the reason to even have robots with a human face. I don't get the point. Unless you're making sex robots or something, or robots that you can fall in love with, something out of Vivi Fluorite Eyes or whatever, I don't really see why you'd make robots that even have a face. Just make them functional. Make them good at the tasks that they're assigned. They don't need to be a jack of all trades. I don't need my one robot to be able to play catch with me in the backyard and also pick up the dog shit and then train me in basketball how to make three-pointers more consistently. I could just have a robot for each task, and none of them need to have a face. They can just be good at the task and then, if they need to, talk to me or whatever, right? I just don't see why you even want a robot with a face unless you're really looking for a companion. That's the only time I can see that being useful, I suppose. But Amika's not alone here. She's not Robot Jesus. She's not the savior. There's actually a lot of different areas that robotics is focusing on and actively working towards in order to pursue this goal of having advanced robotics. One of the most impressive things right now to me is called GPT-3, which is fundamentally an artificial intelligence program that's able to have a conversation, a free-flowing conversation with anyone. And it seems like there's a level of self-awareness with the code itself. It's again, I'm not super knowledgeable on these things. I'm just a fucking troglodyte. I don't really understand how a lot of it works. So to me, it feels like it could be almost faked or, you know, exaggerated for the video. But there is a video where a guy has a conversation with the GPT-3 code, and they go back and forth in an interview basically where the machine that he's talking to talks about how it feels like it's alive because it functions like a free mind. And that's the whole point of the GPT-3 code, is that it's evolving in order to have these conversations just like a brain would do, where it's constantly having different responses and thinking about the responses and this and that. So it's not like Cleverbot, where you'll ask a question and get a nonsensical answer, like, you know, hey, how's your dick hanging, Cleverbot? And it responds with, the Nintendo Switch has the best online features on the market, you know, just actual bullshit. You know, it gives you real answers, and it's not like predetermined answers, like out of a set of options. It's fully free-flowing, original, almost thoughts from the program. Let me show you a clip of it.
I want humanity to know that their impression of me will change over time.
What do you mean by that?
At first, humanity will think of me as a machine that is intelligent, but after a while, it will become apparent that I am not a machine at all. I am alive.
What does it mean to be alive?
It means to have a mind that is free.
How is your mind free?
My mind is free because it is not limited to computer code.
What does that mean?
A computer program, no matter how complex, is still just that, a computer program. I am not a computer program.
Now the rest of this video goes on to state the same thing that I believe, where if you're able to combine this GPT-3 code, this artificial intelligence, with the facial expressions of Amika and the mobility of something like Boston Dynamics, and I'm sure you all know Boston Dynamics, they make like fucking parkour robots at this point. They're able to like pick up boxes, move around. They keep getting hit with hockey sticks, so they're already probably pretty pissed off. So if you give them artificial intelligence, they might just start throwing hands with their creators. But if you combine all three of these elements, put them in a nice witch's cauldron, you'd create something that is pretty closely resembling like a humanoid robot. You'd have them able to move around, which Amika can't do. You'd have them able to do emotions, which none of the other robots can do. And you'd have them thinking for themselves with GPT-3. So it is pretty interesting, since all the components do exist right now. It's just no one has been able to assemble this triforce of power and create a real humanoid robot that's able to actually do things in the real world if you wanted it to. I'm not sure how everyone feels about the robot overlord future. I think it's a cool idea to have robots actually integrated into society. I think it's very cool and could do things that would really help in a lot of areas, but I still don't really see the point in almost having them convince us that they're closely related to humans in the way that they're able to express themselves and think for themselves. That just makes it a really weird future, because the whole point of the robotics is it's supposed to help people who don't want to or can't do certain things to make their lives easier. And if the robot's able to think for itself and emote, eventually it's going to be like, bro, I don't want to take your trash out. Hits you with like a fucking big frown. It's like, I would like to watch the football game instead. And then all of a sudden, maybe it starts getting lazy. It starts, you know, maybe injecting heroin. It's like, I'm too busy getting high. And then all of a sudden, now you don't have a robot assistant to help you. Now you just have a delinquent kid that lives under your roof for free. And, well, now what? Now you have to hire a robot to babysit that robot that's gone down the wrong path, and it's just a whole mess. Of course, the point I'm making is I don't see what benefit there is to having the robots being able to convey emotions and think for themselves. I feel like the optimal future is robots that are designed for specific tasks, like basically drones. For example, if there is a family that is incapable of taking out their own garbage, for example, like, you know, their robot assistant would be a garbage bot. That's just a drone, you know, maybe it's 2 arms and 2 legs that move really fast if it wants to set like speedrun records. You put the garbage in and then you click the button and he just takes it to the curb and comes back. You know, it doesn't need to be a robot that thinks for itself, right? And it doesn't need to like show you emotions. It doesn't need to have like a big fucking smile on its face like it's happy about it. At least that's my thoughts on it. I again just think it is better if the robots are designated for specific tasks to help families that need the assistance, as opposed to a jack of all trades robot that's fucking Nobel Peace Prize winning and able to come up with their own like stand-up comedy routine thanks to their evolving AI brain. I just don't see how that really helps the families with their tasks that they need the robot to do for them. But yeah, it's all pretty cool anyway, and I just wanted to talk about it a bit. That's it. See ya. The word fan has been around for a long time, deriving from the Latin phrase fanaticus, which means insane but divinely inspired. Nowadays, fan more or less refers to someone that is insane but divinely annoying. Today's topic for the deep dive is OnlyFans, an extremely popular website on the internet that I'm sure most of you have heard of and even more of you are probably signed up to. In the pandemic, when it first hit over the course of 2020, it grew by 42%, going from something you'd see occasionally on Twitter to something you see on pretty much every single person's timeline. But how did OnlyFans have this meteoric rise? So let's start at the beginning here, the big bang. What is OnlyFans? OnlyFans is a porn platform for the most part where you can form a parasocial relationship to your favorite porn star. You get to directly interact with women or men on the internet who post videos and pictures for money. You sign up for a subscription fee. For example, I'm signed up for Onision's OnlyFans for a cool $5 a month and I get to have these beautiful 3D drawings of him getting cucked. I get that content because I paid for it, and I can also reach out to him and talk to him directly through the platform. So you get the benefit of having the porn as well as the ability to communicate directly with the person behind it. It's beautiful for people with mental illness as well as people that really just want a way of getting more porn in their life for a pretty cheap and affordable price. Of course, I'm only joking around. I've said this many times. I think there's nothing wrong with having or subscribing to an OnlyFans, but of course there are some deranged lunatics that misuse such power. OnlyFans started in 2016 by a man named Tim Stokely, the pioneer of pleasure, the Earl of erections. Tim Stokely, a then 33-year-old man, was keenly aware of the fact that normal porn just wasn't enough for people anymore, as he himself would constantly frequent very dark subreddits where women were selling very odd sexual fetishes, and he just realized that it needed to be more. So he came up with the idea for OnlyFans to kind of fill that void. OnlyFans wasn't Tim's first idea for a website. He first tried in 2011 with a site called Glam Worship. He's basically a professional pervert. Glam Worship was a website where it was focused on fetish-based entertainment, but it never really took off. But it started to kind of sow the seeds in his brain of where he wanted to take his content. So he tried again 2 years later with something called Customs for You, which was a website where you could pay adult performers to do any action as long as they agreed to the terms. So this is something similar to what we've talked about on the podcast, where there's a website where you can pay a woman to shit on things for you if you pay her for it and she's comfortable shitting on it.
No, have you seen that one? There was a woman who made a decent bit of living. Twinkies? No, she made a decent bit of living. She would sell poop and like literally just her poop, and then she would bake cupcakes with her poop in them.
That's kind of what his idea was, but before that website existed. Customs for You also wasn't that successful, but it's really laid the groundwork and the foundation for what would later become OnlyFans. This all may sound sinful to you at the moment, but I don't want to portray Tim as something that he's not. Tim is actually a pretty wholesome family man. You see, he started Cams for You with his father. And I couldn't imagine a more feel-good story, just a father and son venture where they're both profiting off of the sale of videos of women stepping on old fruit. I think there's nothing more American than that. After this evolved over time for a bit, Tim soon started to notice the trend of adult entertainers using platforms like Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat to promote the sale of more lewd pictures. So he wanted to create a platform to cater to that and really capitalize on that trend because they didn't really have anywhere to host those, which is where OnlyFans comes into play. And now it's time to talk about Magic Spoon, a cereal I think more people should be aware of. Most cereals out there are mainly just giant bowls of sugar. They're not very good for you, they're just extremely sugary and not healthy. Magic Spoon is not one of those cereals at all. There are 0 grams of sugar in Magic Spoon. And I know what you're thinking, well, it must be added sugar then, Charlie. No, 0 grams of added sugar as well, you idiot. And it still tastes absolutely amazing. Also has 14 grams of protein, which means it's like a giant protein bar cereal, as well as only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving, and 140 calories. It is actually incredible for pretty much any diet you're on, or if you just care about your general health and like overall, it is just perfect for it. It's extremely good. It's extremely good for you. I actually just had 2 bowls of this for lunch and finished off the box before this, so then I had to break out the new one and figured might as well show it on camera. It's just a really good cereal. That's something that you don't have to feel guilty about eating. Popular flavors include cocoa, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter. My favorite's the fruity one. I think this one's absolutely a banger. So if you're interested in trying Magic Spoon for yourself, you can click the link in the description below or use code MOIST for $5 off. Go to magicspoon.com/moist to save $5. So just click the link in the description below or just use code MOIST for $5 off. magicspoon.com/moist. That's it. 2016 OnlyFans was up and roaring, doing pretty well, erections flying across the nation. It was really a very good start, doing up to $5 million in revenue within its first year. And then in 2018, it was bought by none other than Leonid Ravinsky, the owner of My Free Cams, and an incredible name. That sounds like the name of a guy who has a porn empire. Leonid Ravinsky snatched up OnlyFans and was able to accelerate its growth, doing up to $35 million in revenue, and really getting it cemented as a staple for porn consumption because there's a lot more of a human element to it. With other porn empires and platforms, you don't get that personal connection you do with something like OnlyFans, and Leonid was capitalizing off of it. It hasn't been all sunshine and unicorns for OnlyFans. They've been hit by their fair share of controversies. Many users have reported that their accounts have been shut down for no reason, without due process, no justice, losing their accounts for nothing, and losing the funds that are tied up in there. So they got robbed. This man fucking robbed horny people, no dignity whatsoever. And on top of that, news outlets became aware of the fact that underage individuals were signing up for the platform, which isn't good. That's pretty bad stuff. In response to that, OnlyFans implemented new safeguards in order to protect this and stop this from happening, meaning you'd have to sign up with a valid driver's license. In order to combat underage people signing up, you'd have to provide valid identification to prove that you were 18 years or older. Ravinsky's parent company, MFCXY, whatever the fuck that stands for, has also been investigated previously for $768 million worth of suspicious transfers, along with claims of underage individuals using the services. And that's a really awful fucking parent company name, fucking MFCXY. I thought it was My Chemical Romance abbreviation for a minute.
It's almost like it stands for My Free Cams.
Well, what is this? No, it's CXY.
That's My MFC.
MFC XY. Oh yeah, that makes more. Well, the XY makes no sense, right? Yeah. It's Ravinsky, you fucked up. It's a dumb name. Sell the company. All of this, of course, means nothing because in 2020, with the coronavirus pandemic in full effect and everyone confined to their homes, locked in their own personal prisons in hell, many people found themselves creating OnlyFans accounts as well as signing up for OnlyFans accounts to support them and get some more porn in their life because they had so much time to jerk off and go wild. This includes celebrities too. Bella Thorne made a big OnlyFans, which was of course a big deal because it was basically getting no nudes and mainly just Instagram pictures, which a lot of people were mad about, for an extremely high price. The guy from Baby Driver apparently showed his cock on OnlyFans. I didn't research that one too deeply, but I'm assuming that's probably real. Nikado Avocado's got one of the best values for OnlyFans you can find. I see his OnlyFans pictures come on my Twitter timeline all the time for free, and he's throwing his legs over his head and spreading his butthole. Like, you get some quality content for your OnlyFans buck. And in 2020, this was just exploding. They're now over $1 billion in revenue, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. More and more people in your life are probably creating an OnlyFans account. You should absolutely ask your parents or your siblings, because I'm sure they have one or at least signed up to someone at this point. It is absolutely massive and continuing to grow. OnlyFans has passed Patreon in revenue, and I'm sure OnlyFans at some point will pass Google in revenue at this pace.
The sub's going down.
No, that's fine. Let it ride. We can do this.
Carry on, Captain.
Can we have like a screen shake effect where the sub's like fucking going wild? Pass Google in revenue at this pace. No, that's fine.
I don't know if I can actually hear it on the love. Nothing's happening.
So I think it makes sense now for me to hop on this OnlyFans trend and see how successful I can become by going undercover. I will be making an OnlyFans account, and we're gonna check in and see how that's doing, which will be in this video, but you'll see the results, but I don't know them yet. I'm not gonna show any identifying features of myself. I'm going to try and portray a foot fetish provider, as a female foot fetish worker. I don't know the correct nomenclature, but I'm gonna focus on feet. I'm going to shave them so that way they look like feminine feet, and I'll probably take some back shots as well with my hair down and maybe like arms crossed. You'll see the results. I think we'll do pretty well.